Start the meeting with the roll call. Edward Donovan.
I'm here.
Ashley Cummins. Amanda Barber.
Here.
Latanya Washington.
Present.
Charmaine Gamble.
Here.
Dennis Bosick.
Here.
Felicia Davis.
Here.
Timothy Isaac.
Here.
Alexander Gominski.
Here.
Dave.
Okay. We'll call it to order, and then we'll go and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
United States of America, for which it stands, one nation, with justice and justice for all.
Okay.
So hi, Beth. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me tonight.
I can't hear her.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
She's going to be doing a presentation.
She is talking.
No
She is
public
talking.
comments right now.
Oh,
So,
I'm trying.
who's talking?
no.
Can you hear me now? Hold on.
All right.
We have-
Hi,
Can you hear
Beth.
me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
We are ready whenever you are, I think. Is that fair?
Okay.
This is
Um,
the Bradley Center, just that.
I do have a PowerPoint that I can share.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Perfect.
Can you see it?
Could you
I
also
can.
just give yourself a brief introduction, please? I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. I'm Beth Almagro. I'm from the Bradley Center. The Bradley Center is a mental health provider for children, adolescent, and adults and families located in Robinson Township. I am the director of outpatient services, which includes our outpatient clinic as well as our school-based mental health services program. We're here tonight to learn about our school-based offering. And we're excited to be able to present this to the district. Next slide. So the Bradley Center has been around for more than a century. We're actually celebrating 120 years as of this summer, so we're pretty excited about that. Our mission statement includes improving the possibilities, building the lives of possibility for those we serve. So you'll hear that theme throughout my presentation. You can read the slides. I believe we can all read, so I will not read to you. With that said, our approach is trauma-informed treatment, and we look at different evidence-based treatment modalities in which we provide to those we serve, whether it be the children, adolescents, adults, or families. Next. We believe in hope because we believe in kids, especially in our school-based program. So we are able to have a lot of success. I'll get to some numbers here in a minute as well. In today's society, we've learned that our students need more help in their mental health treatment and longevity for services. So that was one thing that we are here to present and prepare to support the district for their students. We want to make sure that they have access to care and provide you with the therapists to help them meet those needs. Next slide. So just a little bit about the Bradley Center Continuum. We stand on 3 program legs. The first one is our psychiatric residential treatment facility. That is our 24-hour care facility. It serves up to 104 children ages 6 through 18. Again, they're not able to maintain safety in their home and or their community, and therefore they're in a placement that will provide them with all their activities of daily living, individual and family therapy activities, and give them opportunities for emotional regulation and therapeutic growth. The Bradley School, which you may be familiar with, that is a licensed academic education program. that provides learning up to 252 students in grades 1st through 12th. And we currently have contracts with over 100 school districts throughout Western PA. And we've also provided in Ohio and West Virginia as well. So pretty fortunate for that. And then our last program is the Psychiatric Outpatient Clinic. We are a licensed community mental health clinic in the state of Pennsylvania. So we abide by the state and federal laws and regulations, as well as the Department of Human Services and Office of Mental Health Substance Abuse Services. So we have a lot of regulating bodies. We provide services in our clinic for ages 5 through 65. And then obviously in our school-based program is kindergarten through 12th grade. Specific to Wilkinsburg district, it would be the kindergarten through 6th grade. Next slide. So just a little bit about our numbers. For school-based specifically, we are in 2 counties, Allegheny County and Washington County. In Allegheny County, we have 4 districts we're currently working in, and within those 4 districts, we're in 21 different buildings. You can see the 4 districts that we're in there, as well as the building breakdown. In Washington County, we have 5 districts, and we're in 8 buildings in those districts. Or actually, my math is really wrong because that's 10 buildings. I'll correct that later. And then in the 24-25 school year, we actually provided service to 327 unique students across those 2 counties. This is pretty spectacular, being that we started our school-based program in 2022-23 school year. So we're still pretty young and doing well with that. So far in the 25-26 school year, we have provided services to 298 unique students. And our school-based team consists of 13 therapists. It's a lot of work spread throughout all of them. And we have 3, I said 3, actually make that 4 as of earlier this week. So 4 therapists joining our team here in the next month. So we continue to grow. Next. The best question I ask of my staff, as well as they ask of me, why Bradley Center? Why should we choose the Bradley Center? Because our outpatient services program includes our school-based mental health services, and we're backed by some incredible depth of experience within our program. As you can see, the team averages 10 years of experience. That is just our therapists. The team of 25 therapists between the clinic and the school-based program, average of 10 years. So we have therapists who are new graduates from grad school, as well as some very experienced therapists who are in the 25 to 30 year range of experience. Our 4 executive leaders, that's myself, our prescriber, the psychiatrist for oversight, as well as the CPO, our chief program officer here, Bradley, an average of 33 years of experience, a total of 132 years. So if you bring that all together, that's 13 years of experience per person on our team. Almost unheard of in a community mental health center, that we have the longevity and the retention there. And I think that's important to note. Next slide. Continuing with this, we recently presented and had the entire school-based team or outpatient therapy team take the ProQual, which is a satisfaction surveys that includes 3 different assessment tools. The compassion satisfaction scale, we rated on high, that we have a lot of compassion for our work. We do good job. We feel that we do well in our job. Also in the burnout scale, we ranked very low on that, meaning that we do not have feelings of hopelessness or burnout and want to quit and not do this work anymore. That is spectacular numbers being shared. And then secondary traumatic stress, that is a result of what we hear and do and see every day in our therapy sessions. And we scored low on that as well, stating that we're able to manage that. One of the huge things with that is our self-care. We talk about it on a regular basis with our team, and we look at ways of maintaining that. And not just our team, but agency-wide. It comes down from our board of trustees through the executive management team, myself, and right down to the people delivering the services. So we're pretty excited with the results of that. Next. So getting into the specific school-based mental health services, go ahead, next slide. And I'll talk about a little bit. You're aware, as you've had these services before, our services extend to the student population. We will address any of their diagnoses, most common being the ones listed on the screen. And we do include family therapy. We do try to provide that at the very end of the day because transitioning back to the classroom can be difficult after a family session. We can include the family members in person if they choose to make it to the buildings, or they can attend virtually if transportation and getting to the building is difficult. So we do in person or virtual, which is a great benefit as well. Next. Again, we serve K through 12. Specific to Wilkinsburg, it would be K through 6. And again, the diagnoses are there. We also look at the aggression, truancy, and oppositional behaviors included. So we're helping the teachers and supporting them in those manners as well. Next. So as far as what type of services we provide individual services, individual therapy. That's meeting one-on-one with the students. Family therapy, that would include their parents, guardians, grandparents, whoever is helping raise them, as long as the caregiver who has rights is in agreement to include the others. We can provide group therapy on site as well. And then we have psychiatric services as well. Our prescriber is able to do evaluations and medication management. All of the families, the students, they can come directly and see her in person in Robinson, or they can attend virtually from anywhere. As long as they're not driving, we feel it's safe for them to attend from wherever they may be. We prefer a confidential location, but if they're comfortable sharing in front of others, then that, we try to make sure and discuss that, but we do try for secure and confidential. Next. In addition to our traditional school-based services, as you know, the traditional school-based services are at no cost to the district. The services that are provided are billed through the insurance companies for the students, whatever insurance plans they may be on. In addition to that, we can offer a lot of additional services to the district. These would be district paid services, depending on obviously your budget and your needs, and we build them around what your needs are. I'll go through, there'll be some lists here of different things. If you've come up with something else, we have added to this list as a result of the district's requesting. So we could do assessments if there's a student who has expressed harm to themselves or others, and you would like them to be assessed and evaluated prior to returning to school. Our therapists are capable of doing that, and using we have different assessment tools that we use to assess for that, and then sharing the results with you. Behavior management. We've worked with individual students in the classroom. We've worked with entire classrooms and setting up different token economies or behavior plans to support. Mindfulness and yoga. We have several yoga instructors that help in the Bradley School, especially where they use yoga, particularly throughout testing days and state test times, to help them be calm and be mindful of what's going on around them. Bullying prevention, our Bradley School uses the PBIS model, so we could do that. We can help with that as well. Assistance in transitions from a more restrictive school placement or hospitalization. Again, we can use our therapists to help with those transition, increase the frequency of sessions, or give them additional support looking at referrals and recommendations as well. Again, we'll work with you to develop what meets your needs and the students' needs more importantly. Next. So we have our traditional school-based therapy. We have supportive counseling services. This again would be the district option, and it would be where maybe there's students who do not have insurance. The families cannot afford to pay out of pocket. And if the services were needed and deemed appropriate by the district, then the district could support for that. Behavioral consultation services, again, those behavior management plans that I discussed. Professional development, there's a whole host of trainers at the Bradley Center, myself included, with a whole host of different topics that we could help you train on. We're doing a training in Avella Area School District in Washington County on the 11th on suicide awareness. We've done everything from self-care and self-care plans for teachers to IEPs and trauma-informed care and behavior management plans, anything to do with the autism and ABA and working through those information and sharing topics on that. Group work, we can group is considered any students from 2 to 10 at a time. And if they're all members or active in school-based services, we can provide that through their insurance companies. If there were specific topics that wanted to be discussed with social skills per se, or communication or family, or whatever topic might be, we can create a program group for students for you as well. Parent education, we've done some on stress management, how to help parents manage the stress of their students. That has gone over extremely well. But any topic we're open to, this is right up our alley. And then the mental health consultation that was added on the contract. We're doing this in the Fort Cherry School District right now in Washington County. In the elementary school, it's group work. There are 6 different groups that are being offered to up to 10 students multiple times throughout the year. And there's been great participation. The parents have been very supportive in having their students, their children attend the groups. The therapist leads short, about 30 to 35-minute groups, about 6 per day. That's full time. It's 2 days, full time, 2 days, or for 2 days a week. Different topics such as behavior management, attention and focus, social skills, peers, pressure and relationships, and things like that. So we've done a lot of good work with their students over the last 2 years. And then the ANTS MHT, so the Academic and Therapeutic Services Mental Health Therapist. This is your social work positions within the school. So we like to put our own name on it because we didn't want to be considered the social worker under the school umbrella. So this would be the therapists who are providing the therapy that is IEP driven. Right now, we're in 5 different school districts supporting them. We're full-time to part-time, depending on what their needs are. Again, that's spelled out in the contract, and we can work with you to develop and meet whatever needs may be there. Next. So some ideas on the professional development. These are topics. We have, like I said, we have the districts reaching out about any time asking for support or topics to meet the teachers' hours of training that they have to have. I know that we are working on becoming mental health first aid trainers, so that is an offering that we will have in the future, in addition to the other ones that are listed here. Next. And then our parent education that I spoke about already. I talked about the stress management. There's some other options as well. Next. And then our referral process, just to kind of let you know how it happens from the time that we get in contact with a parent in regards to starting their child with services. So In Allegheny County, it kind of depends on how the school wants to do it. A lot of the process, a lot of the schools will go through the SAP progress, the process, the Student Assistance Program. Referrals then that the parent can reach out to us, or with permission, that information is shared with us, and we'll reach out to the parent to start the referral process. Our referral coordinator will work with the student. It'll work with the parents for your students, because they'll be all under the age of 14. They'll contact, complete the referral, share that with the school-based therapist that will be assigned to the student. That therapist will then contact the parent to set up the time to schedule the intake. The intake is considered the first appointment with the therapist. That is information gathering and assessment. We develop the treatment plan from there, get all the consents and the legal paperwork signed. And then from there, the sessions are scheduled on a regular basis. Typically, it's weekly, especially in the beginning, just to make sure that there's good rapport and relationship building. As progress is determined and happens, then those frequency can break down to every other week, every 3 weeks, once a month. And then we look at discharge, being successful upon that. Assessment is ongoing throughout all of this. According to our regs and state laws and regulations, we have to complete a treatment plan review every 180 days. So we're always looking at that at least every 6 months. However, it can be more frequently as needed. A lot of collaboration happens between the therapist and the guidance counselors, or the teachers specific as well. Some schools, they have regular meetings that they set up with the therapist when they're in there. They'll talk about the students who are receiving school-based services, and that way there's information sharing between the two parties. So that has definitely been a benefit. Next, I think we're done. Questions? That was a lot of information.
Beth, I do have a quick question. This is Jocelyn. I don't remember if we talked about this in our previous meetings or emails, but we do have pre-K here and pre-K families. Is that something that the Bradley Center would be able to service that young of children?
Unfortunately, no. Our license is specific to 5 years old and up.
Okay.
So if they were, once they turn 5, they may not be in kindergarten yet, but once they turn 5, we're able to start services.
Okay. But you could work with their families?
I'm sorry?
You could work with their families?
Yes, one of the parents could become a client, and we could work with them that way. Or if there's an older sibling, and we could do some family work that way too.
Okay, thank you.
Is this
You're welcome.
replacement or adding to something?
This would be in addition, so this would work at tier 3, similar to the way that ESS functions.
Is this something CHIP will cover? I just wondered if, yeah, so the kids
Or
would
any
have
health insurance.
Any help in
any
that?
health
Any health
insurance, yeah.
And that is so you can compare this to the ESS program that we had at the cost of $360,000 a year to the district, and this program will cost us nothing.
And this is a lot more robust.
And the thing, the professional development and some of those like a la carte services, those would be additional, but, you know, Matt can tell you when he reviewed the contract, we would have to opt into that, and Beth and I would then talk about, here's what we're thinking we need, and then kind of come up with prices from there, and then bring that again before the board.
Right.
But what we're looking at right now is really just the school-based mental health program, so that we can get those supports in place for students, because there is a little bit of a process. Once the contracts are signed, you know, then there's things that the Bradley Center has to do on their end in terms of, you know, the state, and so that there is a little bit of time in terms of preparation. So,
Would you like me to review that?
sure, go for it.
That process? So if you do agree to have Bradley Center or any provider in there for school-based, What happens is we have to have our representative from OMSAS come in and see the spaces in which we would be providing the services. So the rooms, conference room, office, whatever it may look like, they have to license the space. And that's just giving the approval. That space has to include, if there are windows, the windows have to have coverings so that we can have privacy and confidentiality. We have to have access to Wi-Fi or the internet, and there has to be a phone in the space, and obviously a desk and chairs to make it comfortable. So that's what they're looking at. They look at the space. It literally takes 2 minutes. It takes us longer to get there than to actually approve it. Once we get that approval, we submit the paperwork to the state. This is on Bradley, to get the license, the site license, and we would have a license for both buildings. Once we have that license, then we would submit what's called the Promise ID number. That allows us to bill under that ID number to the insurance companies. Once we receive that, that takes about 30 days. And it could be less. They've, knock on wood, it's been a little shorter than that recently. And then we submit to a contract to CCBH in Allegheny County to have to add the sites to our contract with them, so that CCBH, which is the MA provider, medical assistance provider in the county, so that we can bill CCBH for services. So all said and done, there would take about anywhere from 60 to 90 days to get through all of this. That would be pretty quick. From this district, in order to submit licensure to the state, I would need the building permits for each building that we'd be providing services in, as well as the fire and safety, which would be the last time you've had the fire department come in and clear the smoke detectors, fire alarms, things like that. So documents for each building, and that would go to the state for the license.
Thank you, Beth.
Any other questions?
I have one. So I love the term that I've been hearing throughout, but there's no cost. I want to be sure I understand it. There's, in a nutshell, there's no cost to the district in the process from referral through discharge, all the services in between those steps for students with insurance. All right, so
This is correct.
Okay, so what about, this is for us board members, I guess, what about a student who makes it through those steps, or makes it through the, at least referral and evaluation process, I'm just using my words, and doesn't have insurance? Are we talking about underwriting?
That would be one of those a la carte services in my view, and then it would come back before the board to say, it's similar to what we do now when we have a recommendation for a student with supports and we have to place them, we have to approve those, right? So it would be like that. If a student came across without insurance, it would come back to the board to approve covering the cost of that care through this program.
Beth, in your experience, what percentage of students are covered? Do have insurance so they can successfully be participants? Yeah.
I would say it would be high in the 90%. We have very few. They may lose their insurance very temporarily. However, some action by the parent going to the Medicaid office, welfare office, and working with them to reinstate the insurance. They may go from medical assistance to a CHIP program, which is a little bit different and have a little less coverage. However, mental health has been covered on all of those. So,
Okay.
yeah,
do you take insurances that aren't backed by medical assistance? No, but like.
it would depend. It would depend on the therapist.
If a parent has a job, you pay for it through your job, that's not necessarily medical assistance. You know what I'm saying?
But it's charged into insurance. It doesn't matter if
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
She said that in the,
Well, yeah,
no, it's just insurance. We're just bringing up
the medical assistance portion of it.
because
Okay.
children may not
Most
have
of our,
health
it's
care.
probably around 2% to that.
If there is a parent with commercial insurance, there's two different types of therapists. We have non-licensed and licensed therapists. Non-licensed therapists are able to take all of the MA and shift programs within the county, as well as any UPMC plans, including commercial plans, because we have an umbrella. Bradley Center has an umbrella contract with UPMC. Our licensed therapists, which means that they're credentialed and licensed through the state of Pennsylvania, are able to take the commercial insurances like Highmark and Aetna, Cigna, Optum, and those insurances. The non-licensed therapists don't have those credentials.
So do you waive for commercial insurance? Do you waive the co-pays to the parents, or who would be responsible for that if a parent has a co-pay for those sessions?
Right now, the parents are responsible for that.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a valid question because mental health for parents, when you have commercial insurance, I know this from experience, it could be financially burdensome to send your child to a therapist every week when your copay is $30 a session. So
we have found that copays have jumped for this year, especially those that switched over from July 1. We have worked with several clients whose parents have gone from $25 copay to $75 copay. So there's been some significant jumps. I will mention too that if a student has medical assistance as well as their parents having commercial insurance, medical assistance covers the copay. So it's then paid for, but they have to have both in order to be covered that way.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I do have one more. The process of aligning various insurances to cover services for any individual child, that could become really complicated and cumbersome. Who does that? Does that work performed by Bradley, or does that work fall on our staff to be checking on insurance coverage and making sure that it's covered?
Well, I would love it if you would help out. However, it does fall on Bradley. I will not get on my soapbox about insurance plans. However, yes, that is part of our job, is to gather the insurance information from the parents and then verify periodically that insurance to make sure it's still active and covering.
Great. We're kind of a lean organization, so that's important. Thank you.
I don't necessarily have a question, but I do have a statement. In terms of the Bradley Center being able to implement this within 60 to 90 days, considering the fact that sixth grade is obviously already started, I guess I'm hopeful and optimistic that the sixth grade is actually going to be able to benefit from the services a lot.
And Beth, you did say that they could continue through the summer, right?
Yes. And over breaks. We will continue to see students who are willing and able to participate over the summer. Most students don't do it at the same frequency, the weekly throughout the school year. They do take breaks. They might do every other week, maybe even once a month. It's a little bit, they want to enjoy their summers as well. But we do offer them, the therapist is available weekly if that is what is deemed appropriate over the summer. We just ask that if there's a school building open, that we can continue to provide the face-to-face opportunity for that. If not, then it would be virtual, or they would be coming to Robinson, which may not be the easiest task.
Can I ask, this is about treatment. I don't know if this is too much, but in terms of treatment, I know EMDR, CBT, are those kind of things that you work with? I mean, are those the kind of services you provide?
Yes. So EMDR is a certification process. I do not currently have anybody certified with EMDR treatment modality. However, DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. Those are things that all of our therapists have at least a foundation of training in, and some have certification in those.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So this just made me think about, I know we are only K to 6, but because we technically still are responsible for our kids once they go to PPS, is it possible where this could be a service where it's also provided for our Williamsburg students that move on to PPS. So say we've got a sixth grader this year and there's still services that they may need, is it possible that we can still provide that for our kids? And maybe that's something else that needs to be figured out because of the partnership, but I'm curious what that could look like, because we can't make PPS do this, but if it's our kids and they're getting the services here in sixth grade, if there's things that maybe can continue post, what could that look like? And that's a whole.
Right.
One of the ways we can actually do that, and one of the flexibilities is that we would transfer them, and this is just a process thing within our system, transfer them out of school-based into our clinic, and we could see them. It would likely be virtually because we would not be in that school building. However, we could still be able to provide services to them. It would be the same type of service, just under our different program called clinic.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, Beth, for your time. Thank you so much for answering all of our questions too.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank
too.
you.
Bye.
10. You guys are up. You can bring more chairs up if you want to bring more people up. You got 2 up there, but yeah.
Which way is it going? This, with that? Oh. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to push too hard.
Well, before we start with our presentation, it was nice to hear from the Bradley Center because that's also one of our customers. Yeah, and when the logo flashed up there, I was like, wow, that's awesome. So we put a new roof on, we put in a whole bunch of new windows, we put in lighting, we put in new enclosures around the dorm, in the dorm rooms for the students, so they wouldn't have to worry about touching the hot heating elements. So yeah, they were a great customer. So anyway, small world.
Yes.
All connected.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I pushed the wrong button.
I know it does take a minute for the technology to catch up. But thank you guys for coming back.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time.
All right, yeah.
Sure. Well, I'll introduce our, you can go to the next slide. Okay, thank you. I'll just introduce our team. For those of you who don't know me, and most of you do, I'm Renee Gaston. I'm the Senior Project Development Manager. I've been kind of with this group since the start, and we're going to give a little history. I have Rob Campbell here. He's our President and COO. And we have Matt Morris, the VP of Construction, and Mike Selipek. All here who brought the construction team, because you can move to the next slide. Or we listened to the board meeting last month, and I was like, oh, wow. I heard a lot of concern, a lot of angst, and I was like, wow, we really need to go in. So I reached out to me and I said, hey, can we come in and talk about the progress we've made, some history, because I know a lot of folks are new here and don't know the history of this process and the project, and share a little bit about the remaining work and the schedule for the remaining work and how we can complete this project, because our objective here is to alleviate your concerns, address any questions, get realigned so we can have a really positive, strong, and celebratory finish. So that's why I brought our construction team from the top all the way down to the bottom. That would be me. Yeah. So yeah, just really appreciate your time. So thanks, Amanda, for letting us come in and giving us your time, because I know you guys have a lot to talk about. So I want to start first with the progress and try and, like I said, heard some things, want to make sure that we clarify some misunderstandings that might have caused some of the stress and anxiety. So if you want to go on, we'll talk about the progress. So when we started this process, and I'll talk a little bit about the history, but we were trying to renovate all the classrooms and the other spaces like the STEAM cafeteria, kitchen, library, all before school started in September 9th. That was our goal, to be substantially complete. We knew there were a lot of moving parts. It was a rolling kind of design and implementation. And we were able to get those spaces done, but to be honest, we were late on a couple areas, and that was the learning and art support and the nursing suite. And there's some reasons about that, and we'll show you that. Like in the nursing suite, we had ACM, which is asbestos-containing material. I don't know if anyone understands what happens when we see that. All work stops in that area. We have to bring a testing company in to make sure it is or isn't, because if it isn't, we can continue work. If it is, then we have to have an abatement company come in and abate it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't think, can you share your screen with the folks online? I don't think they can see it.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. Sorry to interrupt.
No,
Yeah,
that's
no
fine.
problem. Yeah, it's good to hear it.
Yeah, we want everybody to see it, because otherwise.
There we go.
Can they see it
You're
now?
sharing the wrong one, Nathan.
I'm sharing the wrong one.
Just share your entire screen. You're sharing the window.
Can we also get a copy of this too, so we can add?
Sure.
I will try, yeah, I'll try and PDF it, because it's kind of, there's lots of pictures, so,
PDF is better, yeah.
yeah,
It opens at anything.
right. We can do that. So,
Alright.
yeah, I know we heard something about, oh, the project's not coming down to end of February. I'm not sure where that came from. We never said that, so I'm not sure where that came from. But our
That came from the punch list. The punch list.
On the expected completion of the punch list, yeah.
Wasn't from our team, but
But anyway, so our contract says the end of December, and we are on track for that. So anyway, just wanted to clear that up. So not sure where that came from. So
Thanks.
again, substantially complete in the renovation and then the addition. So the addition, we're substantially complete at the end of this month, end of this week. We do, you can kind of see the challenges over in the box, and I'll talk a little bit about that. There were a lot of challenges that we overcame on the addition, and then the site work is in progress, and we have the punch list started generation that will be going through that. But I wanted to kind of share with some of the challenges that we overcame, because a lot of the new board members don't know about them, but also I have to say that probably the existing board members might not remember, because I was a little shocked when I went and saw them, like, oh, I lived it and I forgot about some of them. So, but then if you want to go to the next slide. There you go. So the first ones we ran into, how many people remember the storm tunnel that no one knew about, that went under the lower parking lot, that were like, oh, nobody knew about that. So we had to trench around that when we were bringing the water line in for the sprinkler system. As we went down through the excavation, we realized we needed some soil nailing of the foundation. So that caused some delays. I think everybody that was here remember, like Kelly, as I think Ed Fong named it, that we just had this water running and we didn't know where it was coming from, and we ran tests and we brought people in, and anyway, that was several months. But it also slowed us down because we had to keep pumping it out, and then over we went, we kept getting water. And then there was this smell, and we're like, oh my goodness, is the soil contaminated? So we had to pile up all the soil, get it tested. The good news is it wasn't contaminated to the point where we had to ship it off to a certain place. But the school district did decide that they didn't really want that soil, it was wet, to reuse it. So we did haul it away, and we had to bring all new backfill in. So those were some of the foundation and site challenges that we ran into. And the next slide. They continued, so we still had the water in the pit, so we had to design and go back to our design team and design how to get rid of that water. So we had to put a foundation pump in, and we also realized the foundation drain, even though it was on the drawing, didn't exist. So we had to put that in as well. And then we had to form the bar to do some reinforcement under the concrete slab in the new addition. And now we're having winter conditions because now we're pouring concrete in the winter. So those were all delays and challenges that we encountered. Then we went to the second floor and we found some things up there as well. I don't know if those who remember that the outlets, instead of wired overhead like the lighting was, it was underground in the floor. So we had to rewire everything. We took the chalkboards off, You would think they would just hung them with nails or hangers. No, they glued them to the wall. So now we have all this glue on the wall, so we had to laminate the walls. And then we wanted to redo the core bathroom, so we took the existing tile off to put on the new tile, and we had this lawn substrate, which isn't suitable for the installation of tile, so we had to rebuild all the core bathrooms. And this was the same on the first floor. A lot of it was on the second, or on the 1B as well, except the outlet wires. And then we can move to the next slide. And so we also had some unforeseen conditions in the lower level in 1A. Most of that was mold remediation in the new Spanish room, the new section of the cafeteria, which was the old storage room, and the SL room. And then when we had some design changes in the nurses suite, we had to move the electrical panels. Well, then we found out the electrical feeders from the main switchgear to the feeders were bad. And then, as I mentioned, we had some asbestos that we had to deal with in the nurses suite too. So those are all unforeseen conditions that come up that push our construction schedule. So those are why we did have some delays, but I think the group should be proud that we continue just to work through those and on the other side. So we are happy to report that. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about, just show some progression, just for those who aren't on site all the time or in the school, and maybe their kids are in Turner. I'm going to go to the next slide. So the addition, we're still working on the addition. As you can tell at the first picture, these are just a few pictures that we went through the water, Lake Kelly, and then we got the canopy and the concrete set, and build out the shell of the addition. Now we're in the bottom row, we're inside where the clear story and the lobby is. There's the security office and the conference room. And then to the right, just what they call the monumental staircase and the architectural lighting feature in there. So the addition is coming along nicely.
I haven't seen that far with the right one.
Yeah, that's new. We're just, so yeah, we're pretty excited about the addition. We're finishing that up. You can move to the next one. The site has a lot of work. Now this is the east parking lot. Do you remember there was the old cracked teacher parking lot and I don't know, was it a tennis court or a basketball court that was fenced in? We took all that out. You saw we had to take out concrete and asphalt. Had to put in a storm management system to drain off all the water for the new playground or the new parking lot. Formed all the concrete curbs for the parking lot so people can come off, the drop off, bless you, the drop off from Kelly to McNair, and then the addition, and then that's kind of a picture of the upper parking lot to your right. So now I thought it would be fun to just show some before and afters, because like when your kids are growing up and you're in the day, you don't see them grow up, you forget, and then but if somebody else, relative says, oh wow, they've changed a lot. Well, that's what I feel like here. Corridor before and after. You remember that ugly tile? We had little gray tiles and gold tiles and bigger white tiles. So that's what the new corridors look like. Go to the next slide. We'll kind of go fast with these. But the ramp renovation,
Wow.
I don't think I have to say anything. That one. You can go to the next one. The restrooms before and after. So for those of you who don't know, we changed out the core restrooms. But we also added a new ADA restroom on each of the floors. So that's new. And we wanted to, when we were updating it, that was one of the goals, was besides putting in the ADA for the elevator, we wanted to put an ADA restroom. So that is one on each floor. Go to the next one. Remember you had your large kind of SLG rooms that wasn't used. We're hoping that we transform those to flex classrooms. They look really cool, so hopefully those teachers are going to start using those now that they have furniture and stuff in there. So that turned out really nice. The next one, classroom renovations, new ceilings, flooring, walls. You had some of those partitions in there before that were removable. We changed those out, put in new walls, and so the new classrooms look really nice. That's on the second floor, and the next one's 1B, but similar look. And the next slide. So the kitchen renovation, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next couple of slides, but there was a lot of work to be done in the kitchen that I'm not sure that, especially people who weren't here before, when HHSDR was here and they weren't going to do anything in the kitchen. They were going to just leave it the way it is. But because of space and wanting bigger classrooms and not filling in the ramp, we decided to move the kitchen and renovate it. So we had to trench through the concrete floor to get the grease traps outside and put in new HVAC and obviously the walls and the new flooring. And the next slide shows putting in the new equipment. So that's kind of the before and the after. And it's really nice. I don't know how many of you knew or remember the serving line before the It's not really code. So the other thing was we wanted to open up the cafeteria as well to allow more students to sit there, so there was less lunch periods. So this made it a really nice flow, reduced the kitchen side because you didn't need as big a kitchen because you weren't doing all the cooking. Have a nice serving line into the cafeteria, so that looks really nice. The gym, we originally weren't going to do anything in the gym, but then the old rooftop units, the district decided we better change those out because they're old. We also had some non-functioning unit ventilators in the ceiling as well. Those are those big gray things on the left-hand side. So we replaced the units, and since we were replacing the units, it made sense to replace the lighting in the ceiling and take out those unit ventilators. So we did that work as well. And there's kind of the before and after the music room. The music room looks great. So from that, and that's, it's still in the same location. Now the art room's in a different location. As you can see, we brought it upstairs because when Ann Bolenkamp from the Children's Museum, she had some input as well in the design. She wanted the art room, she suggested the art room be upstairs where there's a window so they have more natural light when they're doing art. So that's moved upstairs off by the gym. It's now in 1B instead of the lower level, and the ESL is down in where the art room was. So, but those turned out really nice. And these just pictures of the new STEAM and the new library spaces. Again, just giving you some pictures and the renovation on the outside before.
Can we go back to the library?
Sure. I didn't have pictures of the old library, but if you remember, they had those big bookcases, and it was upstairs, and we turned that into the second grade classroom, and moved the library down here beside the steam room where the offices used to be. So
That looks good.
So now all the kids can reach the books too, which makes it nice. Instead of those tall, big bookcases that you had before. Yeah, they let. Oh, yeah. So if you remember, they wanted the steam room when ceilings left open. That on purpose. It's not like we forgot to put the tile in, just in case. You can see the piping, and that they thought it'd be really cool because it's steam. That you could see the HVAC up there, and people can talk about the piping and cooling and heating and.
Oh, it's open like that. Like, is that okay?
Yeah, it looks
No,
weird, but I get it.
It's more industrial.
It's the same room?
No.
So no, it's not. That's where the office is used to be.
It's just kind of cool to show the students what it's
Okay.
Really hard.
Got it. Is that the room where there's a window in front?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you go in on the 1B in the main, there's the steam room and then the library. Yeah, across from the gym.
Where the music is.
Does the film being open impact the ability to hold each school
Systems designed for that.
Okay.
Yep.
Good question. And then outside, we're doing a lot of work outside. You can see the new, with the new, I got all painted, and if you remember, there was some concrete falling off the wall, and you can see the rebar behind it, so that got all fixed and painted. New storefront in that entry where the kids are dropped off, the new playgrounds are going in. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it. So.
Exterior is wonderful.
Yeah, so we're still working on that. Got some things to finish up there, but really moving right along. So I wanted to give a little history. Like I said, I've forgotten some things. So I'm sure other people have, and some of you are new. So way back before we were hired, the school district hired HHSDR as an architect. I'm back in the end of 21. And then they did a conceptual design of Kelly. And then we were selected at the beginning of 23, responded in 22, but selected in the beginning of 23. And we were asked to work alongside HHSDR, so we came back with a rough order of magnitude, that's what I'm saying, is budget for their design. Now, their design had ramps filled in and no work done in the lower level. They weren't doing anything with the kitchen. But anyway, we gave a rough order of magnitude there. And then the school board says, what about if we just put on a big addition, Turner, and think about closing Kelly? So they went through the conceptual design of that. We were asked in July to put together a rough order of magnitude for that one. And then we went through a couple months of comparing the two and what to do. And then the school districts went back, said, I think we want to stick with Kelly renovation, went to HHSDR and said, hey, let's refocus on Kelly. And they said, this is January of 24. They said, we can't reengage until June, the earliest. So we're like, well, that's not really going to work. So 24 months of back and forth, and I'm sure I don't know how much money, spent with HHSDR with no design. So then we said, hey, 10, can you hire an architect to work under you and do a rolling design and construction under GISA? And I'm going to take a minute for those of you who don't know what GISA is, Guaranteed Energy Service Agreement. What we do under there, it's a little bit different than your traditional construction jobs, which I'm sure those of you who are familiar with construction probably have done more of the traditional construction, where the owner has multiple prime contractors that they have to manage. So they have the general and maybe the mechanical. And so under GISA, all that falls under the Energy Services Company escrow, which is 10. So the best thing that most of our customers like about GISA is you don't have the finger pointing, you don't have the having to manage all of them. You just come to the escrow 10 and we manage all the subs. So it's a little different than general construction. So anyways, 10 hired then DLA as their architect. And we started programming in March of 2024. We took about a month to do the programming. How many classrooms do you need? What rooms do you want? Went through that. And then we started the schematic drawings. And then we started phasing the DDs or design drawings and CDs or construction drawings. As you can see, we kind of rolled that out. We had weekly development meetings with the school district and DLA and the group. Each phase, we went through the design development, we went through the construction drawings, the page turns. So it was a very, very collaborative approach and relationship we had. Come in front of the board several times to get the board updates. And so the original schedule, originally we planned on working into October, because I don't know if you remember, but the very first piece of equipment we ordered was the switch gear, which wasn't ever going to come in until the middle to end of September. So we knew we were trying to get the kids in the classrooms by the beginning of September. We knew we'd be working through October to get in the switch gear. We plan on doing the switch over on your break in October, but the school district said, hey, do you mind just waiting until December, because we're doing a couple other things in December, which mainly is the corridor by the gym. We were supposed to put in LVT, and the school district said, hey, can we leave it terrazzo? But there's all those little concrete things, so we have to put patches and do the floor. It's going to be a week or so duration, so we're going to do that over the Christmas break. So think about that. We started in March of 24. We're in October of 25. 18 months, we completed the design and built $24 million worth of work. That's fairly unheard of. That's not to even say with all the challenges I just explained that we had. And we delivered it mostly during an occupied school. So big shout out to Rachel and Summer, who helped us figure out how we could pick a floor at a time to do this work during the summer, or during the school year. Went to the teachers, and they had some pushback about co-teaching, but it sounded like quite a few of them liked it. So that was a nice additive outcome of that. But still, we had to, make sure we kept the noise down. We had to work around buses and such. So, so that was the main part of the job. And then the next slide, they went back and said, "Hey,
Why was that switchgear thing important? I'm not sure if people know that, but that's a big deal.
So your
What's it do?
switchgear at the beginning of the project, it was, we asked if, we were looking at all the systems, and the switchgear's like, they said, we're not gonna turn it off because we're afraid it won't turn back on.
That's where all the power,
So
the
yeah,
whole building
the
comes in and
switchgear,
gets distributed, right? I mean, it's a
exactly.
big deal.
Yeah, so it's in the mechanical, and there's the switchgear that's all where the Duquesne line power comes in, and then all the electrical panels go out to control the HVAC equipment, the air handling units, the plugs, the lighting, all that. So it was original to the building. So it was, but switchgear since COVID, switchgear is anywhere from 52 to 60 some weeks lead time. So that's always, so we're like, well, how do we do this? And do a switchover when we need to. So we worked with an electrical contractor, and they've done, they have it so we have the switchgear switch, they can just switch over a couple of day period. But there was a lot of building into that. We had to take some equipment out. And for those of you who don't know, we built a restroom down there for the boys' restroom. We had to figure out where to put the panels in and bring those in. So there was a lot of working together to get that done. But the switchgear we knew was the longest lead time item. So we knew that would push it out to do that. But so then later, added scope, when we talk a little bit about added scope, one of them was, we're like, well, you switch out the switch gears, should we switch out all the electrical panels too? So we did add that into the scope. That wasn't originally into it. But then you guys hired Trans Associates to do a design of the upper parking lot to get the traffic off of Kelly onto McNair, so people wouldn't back up on Kelly, and have a better, safer drop off for the students. So they asked, hey, can you wrap that in? And then Flora Tita was hired as the landscaping architect. Again, asked if we could incorporate that into our drawings with DLA. As you can see, RCDs for all civil was completed in December, so that we could go through all the approvals with the borough planning. We appreciate Ed and some of the folks would be on those meetings with our folks at Red Swing to get through all those approval processes. So we had several coordination meetings with that. And then the landscaping, so there was some stuff that other folks were doing, but a lot of that came back to say, hey, Ken, can you do that? So that added some months to our construction schedule, and that's why, or if you look at our last amendment, we said we would be finished at the end of December. And then the school district also hired Yonka for the playgrounds, which they're looking great, by the way. But by the time that got ordered, the equipment didn't get ordered till May, so they knew they had long lead times too, that the equipment wasn't going to come in until the end of September. So that's why we're working on playgrounds here in October. So that gives you a little bit of the history. So hopefully you can kind of see where we started and where we've come. I'm going to turn it over to Mike to talk about the upcoming remaining work.
Sure. So just to kind of address things the way we've been discussing them here with the three kind of main areas of the project. The first being the interior renovations, so the existing structure renovations. We're currently, substantially complete. We had our punch list conducted and issued to all of our trade contractors last week. We are working with the district to receive the district's portion of that punch list that we like to incorporate, into ours with our design team partners, so that we're, unified in what the complete punch list is. We typically try to ensure that all of our punch list activities are complete within 2 weeks of receiving the actual list. So we're still, pushing to have that completed. Like I said, 2 weeks after receipt of the formal list. So And then
Can I pause?
Yes.
So you don't have the punch list?
So we have, we had our design partners walk through the building and do, the design punch list from the architect and from our mechanical, electrical, and plumbing engineers. I know that Harry, in talking with Harry, he was gonna walk also, make sure we marry that together with what we have. We still need to work through that with Harry to incorporate that list in ours to make sure there's, everything's accounted for and taken care of. So that's something we just need to work with him and get that and make sure we have that included in everything we have. So, and then, like Renee mentioned, the couple other areas we're need to complete on the interior renovation, the switchgear that we just spoke about. All the infrastructure and the equipment is in and installed. It's just a matter of doing the actual switch over from the existing gear to the new switchgear, which, like we said, will require a whole building shutdown of electricity in the building. So we're planning to take care of that over Christmas break when the building's not occupied. And then lastly, the corridor terrazzo, again, that Renee touched on, patching that terrazzo and repolishing the floor, again, is another one that makes no sense to take advantage of while the building's not occupied. So aside from the punch list in those two areas, everything on the interior renovation side's substantially complete. The next section here, the addition, will be substantially complete with the interior fit out of the addition here by the end of the week. We actually are working through our permitting inspections as we speak. We had our sprinkler system fully tested and inspected today, so we got sign off on our sprinkler permit. The fire alarm inspection will be completed here by the end of this week as well. They're scheduled to conduct that on Friday alongside the occupancy inspections as well. So then on the site side, again, working through some of the remaining site items, we have our lower parking lot that we're currently working in now. We're scheduled to have that on track to complete by the end of November as well, with the rest of our site accessories, the benches, trash cans, handrails. And then the last portion, the landscaping, similarly pushing, still on track to have that complete here by the end of November as well. There are a couple items that still need to be addressed and taken care of. Most importantly, the main entrance, slab on grade concrete. I think we know all and agree and understand that there are some quality control issues with that concrete slab. We acknowledge and understand and know that we will be replacing that. It's just a matter of coordinating that work, what makes most sense in terms of weather permitting, and obviously coordination with the district, knowing that it's a high traffic area being the main entry to the building itself. So just wanted to note that as well. It's something that will be addressed through 10 here.
That's something that may happen after Christmas, if that makes the most sense. If it's really cold, we may have to push it. But,
and I do want to say too, that is part of how we view this project, is that it's not complete until the quality of the project lives up to what our expectations are. So when we talk about February, we're talking about exactly something like that.
Yep.
So you say that this project is going to be done at the end of December, but that slab's not repaired, it's not done to us, right? So that's where we're talking about this. For us, it's not done until the quality is there. And so that is only one of several items that's like that in the building as it stands right now. Including the paint, the bubbling wall cover, and the planters, things like that, that from the time we walked through in August to our meeting last month in September, I think that's where we were getting frustrated, where we had walked through in August, had heard and seen things, and that when we come to September to hear, well, those things you heard and saw in August, and we still have a list of these things that weren't giving that quality. So that's, I think, the frustration too with the board at that September meeting, that some of that was coming through with either miscommunication from the subcontractors or to the subcontractors, things that we thought we had communicated in August or had been communicated to us in that walkthrough, and then to see a month later, well, that's not where we thought we were going to be at. So that really was our frustrations last month. So
I think, well, there were some things that I heard anyway, and for instance, like some things were said like, oh, well, we needed to control the roof, and that was delaying the lobby. That wasn't actually true. It was, yes, So here's the thing, Amanda. So yeah, there were some things on the list and we're like, are they critical to the path of getting the project done? And if it wasn't, we have it noted, but we didn't do it right away.
Right.
So we're like, okay, and the roof was one. So we had to get with our roofing contractors and lay out a detail and say, hey, is this good? To get everybody sign off on it, to make sure you guys have warranties. Yes, we've done that. We're scheduling that. Mike will talk a little bit about that later, but we're going to get that to that in November because it's not time critical. So we are pushing to get the addition done and the site. So there's certain things that pile up, right? So we were like, okay, what are the most critical things? So they're on the list. Just have we gone upstairs and fixed the wall protection? No, because it's not critical. Did we fix the concrete slab on grade? No, because it's functional, right? Needs fixed for sure, but it's functional. So let's focus on getting the school, get them playgrounds operated. So that's sort of why it doesn't mean like, oh, we're ignoring them or they're not important. They're just not time critical.
Right, and I think that's what we want you guys to understand from our perspective too, is that the way you lay those out in criticality and time and that kind of thing is on you guys. But for us, the completion of the project is when the quality's there and all of those things are complete, right? So as much as we want to say like, we are grateful to have the kids in the building and functioning in the building and those classrooms done, it's all of those items, like nobody wants to see that cracked concrete on a brand new addition, right? So until that's done, we're not feeling like this project is done. So I just want us to kind of line up on that kind of when the project is done idea, right? So that's where we're coming from.
The reason why I'm here is I'm in full agreement with you.
Yeah.
I didn't like what I heard at the board meeting last month. I didn't want my company to be represented that way. I felt kind of disappointed and sad that you felt that way. But I want to reassure you and everybody on the board here today that we are not going to walk away until this project is done. We are not going to walk away until it's done to the satisfaction of the school district, and we are just not going to do it, right? So I think the challenges that we faced during construction, the things that Renee mentioned, they delayed us, right? And so we had to make decisions around what was most critical to get the kids back in the classroom. And so we made decisions to do certain things and delay other things. But I can tell you with certainty right now, they will be done. Okay, so just we'll continue to try to work with you and be patient. The concrete issue is one that we absolutely know we need to fix. But it's kind of weather dependent, right? There's a lot of bad weather potentially that's coming in front of us, and we'll squeeze it in as best we can, as soon as we can, but we will not leave until everything is done. So I hope all the cameras recorded my voice. All right.
Behind you, they're only in front of you.
No, because it's truthful and so I'm honest. I want to make sure that like I'm proud of this work. What Renee just went through was pretty awesome. So we want to finish strong.
Yeah.
So.
And we're glad you guys are here. We appreciate that.
And Renee is an awesome baker.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Renee is a phenomenal.
As long as possible, Renee.
Yeah, I think, and I'm imagining there's still more slides.
There's a couple more.
Okay, I'll let you finish.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to ask any if it's in there.
Oh,
We can just go through these quickly. We just added kind of three different sections here in terms of, project costs that have been incurred in different areas. So the first portion being contingency, we have certain contingencies that we have encountered throughout construction that we've addressed. Similarly, on the unforeseen conditions, I know Renee touched on quite a few of them with the photos and kind of the project history here. And then also the customer added scope items. I don't necessarily need to go through each one of these. I know we'll be distributing the PDF of this, but just wanted to add this here for everybody's information as well. We also highlighted kind of in the blue text certain ones that we've taken care of on our side of things that have just come up throughout construction here. So, the next slide, the last slide, I believe, the consultant raised concerns. I know that the district and Denise have expressed concern, and Denise issued an email with a list of items that we've vetted. We've used those as the forefront to set all of our meetings. We talk about them daily. We're committed to addressing them. Similarly, some of these items, in terms of priority, haven't been addressed immediately as we've been paying closer attention to items more critical to the project schedule. But similar to these other areas, want to acknowledge them. We're aware of them. We're receiving them. We own them, and we're doing our best to take care of these, as quickly as possible and correctly.
I don't know if anybody wants to go through any of those, but like I said, we'll kind of go through those. Yeah.
Or you can give us a copy so we can, yeah.
Yeah, and if you have any questions afterwards. So again, I just thought it'd be good to end on, okay, what was the objectives and vision way at the beginning? And on the site side, it was accessibility, the ADA requirement, the stair tower, the elevators, the administrative office space to better serve the students and families with a larger conference room and a secure and welcoming front entrance, site improvements for the drop-off, the student drop-off, as well as the playgrounds, and just landscaping, the renovations to improve the learning environment with not just the view, the pretty paint and the lights, but the new mechanical and electrical systems to make a better learning environment, lots of ventilation now that you didn't have before, utilizing space to fit the existing and future programs. So again, I mentioned kind of more cafeteria seating and a food service line to reduce the lunch periods, a new maker space and library, larger ESL, Spanish room, etc., and the learning experiences throughout the school, including the flex classrooms and the ramp. Everybody wanted to keep the ramp in. And then, just to utilize, kind of have a learning environment all the way through. So, I mean, from our standpoint, this board has invested a ton of money in the school and this community for the Wilkinsburg families and the staff and the community. And I think it's a project that everybody should be really proud of. I know we're proud of it. Had some delays, definitely had some challenges, but I thought we collaboratively worked together. And so we'd like to finish really strong and on a positive note, as well as consider like when we might want to have a ribbon cutting. Now, ribbon cutting doesn't have to be everything perfect because we're not leaving, but have a ribbon cutting, whether we have it like the end of November. Now, the thing that won't be done would be the terrazzo floor in the 1A, but the outside will look great. No grass. They'll be strong and hydro seeded, but we're gonna have grass for a while. But the playgrounds and the fencing and everything will be up, and you can already see the outside of the building looks great. We'll have the security fences down, and so I know Senator Costa was a real big supporter in helping us get some grants, so we want him invited, and obviously the board and just some other folks that have been really involved in this.
The whole board.
The whole
Here the
board.
whole time.
And the board that's really, all the people that really invested a lot of time. I mean, then you were on my weekly meeting, development meetings. So I forgot, I think I saw 55 meetings we had. So yeah, there's a lot of work and collaboration that went into this, and we'd like to really, celebrate and make a big splash to what you guys have done for the community. So we can talk about when that makes sense to have. If you want to tie in with another event or just have it singling.
So I have a question specifically around the Children's Museum piece, because I know that they came in, and I'm curious in all that we've seen where that's been incorporated, because some of the stuff we talked about, I guess I'm not seeing.
Okay.
And so I know it wasn't, we had to pay them. So I'm just curious, what was that? You know, we talked about the, where the ramp is at, like some, maybe, I don't know particularly, what is it? At the Children's Museum, they've got that room with the ribbons dropping down. And then it was the library, I believe, that was discussed, the like Lego walls, just stuff like that. So like, I'm curious is what that looks like. How do we incorporate that? Yeah.
So there's a couple things. So we do have the architectural lighting feature in the staircase. And did bring up some things that she could do in the ramp area that she was going to look at trying to maybe even bring in some local artists and do a few things. But what we've incorporated, she laid out, and they're not installed yet, but we have them on site, is the Lego boards, some peg boards out in the room so the teachers can hang, not on the walls, but on the peg boards. So those will be going up second shift in this next month as well. So those, and then the ramp area, so those are incorporated. Some of the playground, she and Zolna kind of worked together on the playground. Some of the signage, the wayfinding, the colors. So she worked with us with BLA on that. So that's what main things. She did talk about trying to bring in some artists once the project got further along towards the end. So that's the that would be the kind of the last piece that she might be able to bring to the table.
And with any of that, and this is just, because it was the Children's Museum, will there be, I know we talked about signage, but like, is there something else, say, like in partnership with the Children's Museum, just so we're actually defining for community when they're showing up for open house or parent-teacher conference, like, oh, it's a little bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for, like
associated brand awareness.
Yeah, like that collaboration piece of like thinking about the learning experience for our children. Everybody, we love the Children's Museum. So for parents to know, oh, there's something in our elementary school that was, designed by the children, that has a message to the community. So
you guys think
There's
about
usually
that.
a plaque, you know what I mean, on the wall when it's, there's one at
not that,
when the
no,
lobby-
not that kind of plaque. I don't mean that kind of plaque. I literally mean like, if the Lego wall is up, is it going to say this library is
Yeah,
it
just
has
a foam
a
board, like a
Yeah.
foam board, that's like what you would see in an art museum.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah,
That
yeah.
kind of stuff. Just because,
That's a good idea.
yeah, like even for our kids, I know what the Children's Museum logo looks like. So if a kid sees the children, they might be like, the museum's in my school, like
Yeah.
however that is tracking for kids and families. I think that's a part of what that investment was for us to even bring them in. So we want to make sure it's clear that we appreciate 10 and Children's Museum got a couple dollars on this project too. So can we make it very clear what Children's Museum did and stuff?
Yep.
We didn't just give them money to say, hey, come look at this, right?
So we can reach out to Ian and see what they're willing to, like you can't just steal the logo.
Right. Or whatever, right. And even if it just has to be a line, right?
No, I'm sure I'm sure she'd like to.
So did we,
Yeah.
did
Lighting
pay
by
the Children's Museum, or did they?
Right.
No, we paid.
Because I was gonna say, because that would be free advertisement for them, kind of like
Right.
product placement. So
Yeah.
that might be something that
That's
might
exactly
want
what I'm
to
talking
contribute
about.
to the cost
That's
of for
it.
free advert,
Exactly.
we shouldn't be paying for that because that's free advertisement for them to say, that's just like when you get your roof done and they give you a discount if you let them put a sign in your yard,
Let's
so.
reconnect with her and we'll give you some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still really would love ribbons in the round. I know
Okay.
you said local artists, let's find a local artist that can do the ribbon.
Put the ribbons up, yeah.
Yes.
You have
I
a
keep
local
saying
artist that can?
grants. I can definitely find you some local artists.
Yes.
That's actually very
That's
easy. We
Okay.
literally have Boom Concepts living in Wilkinsburg.
So
Yes.
the local artist was part of my first question.
We,
I know back in like last summer, we were on some of these calls
okay.
just
So you
as
were
in
there.
the community.
Right.
And I don't know if that was y'all or the one before y'all, but local artists was being brought up, elevators was brought up. This is before I was even on the board.
Mhm.
So yeah, artwork was my question. So thank you actually. But I do have another question. So I attended the open house and my question is the function of some of the classrooms. The electrical is a challenge. One of the classrooms specifically I was looking at, I'm in a music classroom and there's these keyboards that need plugged in, but only one or two outlets. Like, what does that look like as far as a solution?
So I'd have to go back and look at how many outlets they were in there, and we did try and add an outlet or two more in each classroom.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just one classroom or if it's multiple, but that one stood out.
That one, because there's
Because
lots
it was
of,
music and it
Yeah.
for the keyboards, yeah.
I would think the same for the makerspace. I know for me with sewing machines, 4 sewing machines, that's a lot of power on top of iron.
yeah, I don't think there was like specific, like, oh, we need so many outlets in any one single room, but we can,
Well,
all
certain classrooms, they may just demand that kind of attention. So
When we
I'm just
walked
curious what that looks like.
Yeah, when we walked in, there's literally like 6, 7 keyboards in the room. I imagine there won't be a day where 6 or 7 kids at one time are playing on the keyboard, but maybe there's some talented second graders. I don't know. And yeah, she did. She was struggling. We were looking like, oh, there's no outlets. Like, yeah, but
I mean, we did, like, we went through, no, not everybody was all the rooms, but every phase, Rachel and the key teacher for like second grade or whatever, we went through how many outlets and how many were the boards are gonna be and where all this was. So she went there and been with us and that, like, we did, I don't remember back then, but yeah. So, yeah, but we can take a look and see what, if there's a solution.
I'm thinking about them like, you know, outlets that look like, shaped like this speaker thing right here.
Oh, and I was thinking about the strip, that's old school.
That's what I was thinking, the long
Yeah.
strip against the wall with multiple outlets on it.
Yeah. It might be from, just. That's what I'm talking about.
I came up in that 90s, like.
Me too.
What did you say?
What did you say? No, I feel old school, because it ain't like that. It's definitely not like that.
We came up differently in the 90s.
It don't matter, we were there.
We still doing the Roger Rabbit.
I was right over in Turner in the 90s.
And I was in Peabody.
That's fine, but I was at Turner and remember.
I'm good.
You sure were. Get us, Victoria. Okay.
She said I got both of y'all beat.
I just asked really quickly, when will the elevator be operational?
The elevator, they call for 5 to 7 day notice period to get your inspection with the state. The elevator has to go through Department of Labor and Industry, not local bureau. So we have our final inspections for what are needed for the elevator inspection scheduled to be completed this week. Then we'll be calling for the actual elevator inspection. So part of that as well, to have your elevator inspected, you have to have your elevator lobbies 100% complete. I think it's 20 feet from the elevator doors. So that is also in progress this week. We have a checklist from the elevator manufacturer of everything they require to call for inspection. Working through that here over the next couple of days, and then we'll be putting a request in for our final testing with the Department of Labor and Industry.
Oh, Charles, he'll come out. He's a good inspector.
Okay.
What happened about the camera in the elevator? I could ask this tomorrow, I guess.
I was gonna say, we're gonna be there tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, never mind, that's a detail.
They're gonna be there tomorrow.
We'll find
too.
out tomorrow.
Yeah. Any other question?
You have any more baked goods with you? I forgot to take my little apple
No
bars last
shame.
time. I was so
Oh, my
upset.
No shade.
No shade.
I'll figure out something.
But no,
I'll save that for the ribbon cutting.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
We'll have some baked goods for the ribbon cutting.
I think the piece to that, like, we can just, there's a lot of work in this piece. And when we had the meeting before school started, like we said, then over communication is great. Tell us too much, right?
Mhm.
Tell us, like, have Amanda, Jocelyn, and whoever is at the meetings, because I won't catch those meetings until after next week. But give us too much information.
Okay.
Repeat it,
I
right? Because one, just from our perspective as board members, you know, we this isn't our full-time job, right?
Right.
So we are coming in the moment to catch up, check in, and so at times something might slip. So for everybody across the board, the more we can be over communicated to, the better. Honestly, get on our nerves with communicating.
Well, I think that's what we want to do tonight, we all appreciate the board's time to go through a very detailed presentation. So hopefully everybody on the board now has kind of been brought up to a common understanding and, of what took place. I also believe we didn't communicate well enough at the crunch periods of time when a lot of things were happening that we can learn from too. So
Y'all got
appreciate
parents, so
the
pressure.
feedback.
We was like, my baby starts.
Yeah, I know.
We made decisions to make sure that our representation to reflected what our needs were and where we were at with pacing. So, we look forward to better communication from you guys because, we've made changes on our end too. And there were gaps in that communication during those times. So, we want just the way we're structured at this time is the way we're gonna stay structured through the end of this project, so, yeah, we're gonna stay on you guys. I mean, we appreciate you being here tonight, but we're
No.
all committed to this, and we're at a point too with like, you know, 3 of us have children in Kelly right now, so we see it every day. And people in the community are talking to us about it every day. So we are getting their feedback, right? And so when we talk about things like the planters and stuff, that's coming from the community. That's not just us. That's not just the board. When we talk about the cracks in the concrete, that's also the community standing there waiting, you know. They really like the new drop off and pickup line. They really like it, but you know, it's some of those other things. And I do feel a less pressure from parents this year than we did last year, right? Where like the kids were like, had stories about things, right? Like the kids were like, this happened, that happened. Parents were like, so-and-so was saying this is happening. So because the classrooms are done now at this point, you know, so the kids are loving it. I've had, I don't know about,
they are.
Bellamy and Aria, but I know Claire's just like, yeah, school's great, it was great. So, but yeah, just so you know, like this is not just us, these 9 of us, we're also in community and talking to people in community too.
Well, you have a responsibility to the stakeholders, all the parents, to keep them informed on what's going on, right? So we're going to continue to try to do our best to make sure you have all that ammunition to.
All those 3rd graders this year would like to see it too, because they were 2nd graders.
Oh, yeah.
They really want to see it.
True.
So whenever that ribbon cutting happens, we should invite all the 3rd graders.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
That's
my 3rd grader was very, very sad. Not to leave.
Ours in the same class.
Yes.
good point.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Rachel at the communicycle, and the communicycle, and she said, "Oh, the feedback she's been getting from the parents have been very positive." But yeah, there's a couple things that and any construction job you're going to run into, and have to. That's why there's punch lists. That's why there's substantial completion, and so.
You know, we got parents who are in the space too, right, of construction, so they're walking in and asking us, and I don't do this. We have the mercy of what y'all be able to do that. I'm sorry.
That's not my area of expertise.
Yeah, so but thank you, because thank you. Like, we do appreciate you, your work, showing up tonight. Because look at this. This is only our 2nd agenda item, and it's 8:30.
Yeah, we'll let you go. How about we let you go?
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you. We'll see you sometime tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay, solicitor update.
We covered my subject in executive session.
Exactly. Okay, superintendent update. Ready? You want to breathe or you want to drink? You want to take a walk?
I gave it to the gentleman. He took it. Yes.
Right after this. Yeah.
So my superintendent's report this month is around my first 100 days. So
Ready?
Yeah,
100 days already?
Not yet. And so if we're looking at 100 work days, it's mid-November. And if we're looking at 100 calendar days, I think it's 100 calendar days.
Which is also Dr. Ardinger's work days, because she hasn't taken a day off.
Even on my days off, I'm not off.
Comes with the territory.
It does, absolutely. So,
This is
so
a
I
really
just,
nice picture.
oh, yeah. So I just wanted to take a look, because I really did use that plan that that I presented during my final interview as the guidepost for my entry into the district. And so I just kind of wanted to update the board on what I've done in these 100 days and the work that I've done with our team. So, you guys go next slide. Just as a quick reminder, these were my priorities: to establish community and stakeholder relationships, examine existing systems, protocols, and procedures, analyze teaching, learning in the school environment, develop and implement an expedited strategic planning process, ensure comprehensive management of operations, finances, and facilities, and then strengthen and refine leadership competencies of the superintendency. For the purposes of the report, not the report, but I guess it is a report, I've condensed a couple of them just because I had a feeling this was going to be a long meeting. I was going to follow two tough acts. So you can go ahead on to the next slide at the end. So looking back at that initial presentation, there were 33 action steps. And as of today, I have completed 27 of them. 5 are in progress and 1 is not yet started. And the one that's not started is the professional development for the Western Pennsylvania Superintendent's Forum. And that is because you have to be at least a second year superintendent to participate. So I'm not really eligible. So in theory, all of the things I'm eligible to do are either completed or in progress. And so, thank you. You can go ahead to the next slide. So in terms of priority 1, some of the highlights from, my action steps: formalizing ongoing communication structures to ensure transparency and alignment. We've hit the ground running with the newsletters, and those have been coming out since August, and I think families have really enjoyed not only like seeing all the things that are happening in the district, but then going in, clicking further and getting into what's happening in the schools and getting updates from the teachers that way. Strengthening the administrative team. We had our summer retreat. I hold regular one-on-ones with them. We have weekly instructional administrative team meetings. I think people are really tired of getting calendar invites from me for meetings, but I think that communication is really important. So lots of meetings, and then established regular meetings with the board as well as association leadership teams. And so looking forward, some of the things that are still in process or that we're planning, hosting the first district-wide PTO meeting this November. So very excited about that. And we will. Thank you.
I appreciate getting, I have to say, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I appreciated getting like with an outline for what the day would look like and everything in advance, like well in advance. And it got me excited, like, oh, this is what's going to happen on that day. Yeah. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And then engaging key community leaders, service organizations, faith leaders, to really deepen those collaborations with those networks. And then I will also be launching 2 superintendent coffees to open dialogue with families and staff. So those are things looking ahead, moving forward. For priorities 2 and 4, we completed the comprehensive plan with various touch points with stakeholder feedback, and I really think that we have a plan that we're proud of and really frankly excited for. We created a protocol for adopting new board policies, so that we'll see some of the fruits of that later on in the meeting. Reviewed, handbooks that we have, procedural manuals, bargaining agreements, all those things. Tabbed them up, highlighted them, had to use them lots of times, all the things. And so looking forward, operationalizing the comprehensive plan is going to be our next step, particularly when I met with the teachers group and I got feedback from their focus group. That was one of the things that was really important to them, was seeing what our goals were going to be operationalized, who was accountable for what was the timeline, those kinds of things. And that really is important from an accountability piece. So that will be something that we're working on. And then looking to examine that PPS partnership. We know that the contract is up at the end of the year. And so, identifying opportunities for deeper collaboration and shared impact for our students. And then for priority 3, this is where I think I said this also in my interview, that I would spend most of my time because it is such a critical component of what we do. It is what we do. And so that's analyzing teaching, learning in the school environment. And so some highlights: initiated that ELA pilot process. So we will be evaluating 2 curricular resources and identifying one for adoption before the board, hopefully here in April. We've instituted monthly instructional rounds with our instructional administrative team. So we are in classrooms for over 3 hours on those days that we're there, and we're observing what's happening in the teaching and learning environment so that we can then enhance those practices in the classroom. And I think that that has been really beneficial for our instructional administrative team because we're all seeing the same things and kind of comparing notes and getting on the same page of what we're expecting to see in classrooms. We developed an NTSS framework to establish regular meetings, to coordinate supports for students. And then we're looking at expanding partnerships for the MTSS team to be able to offer to support our students. And so the Bradley partnership is pending board approval tonight. But it is one of those things, you know, when we're looking at the tiers of support, we want to make sure that we have things at each layer to support children comprehensively. And then we've already seen improved attendance and enrollment through our targeted engagement strategies. So and you guys see that data every week in my board update. And so moving forward, really looking to develop an instructional improvement framework that is aligned from the findings of our elementary program review as well as the comprehensive plan to really be specific and intentional of what we're looking for in classrooms. Expanding partnerships for supporting enrichment and the out of school time ecosystem. That's something that we've talked about, and you know, things are in process for that, but also looking to just map it out and see who's touching our students where, in what ways, and how we can continue to develop those relationships. And then conduct a comprehensive special education program review to assess our effectiveness and equity across that department. And then for priorities 5 and 6, which are focused on management of operations, finances, facilities, and then also strengthening and refining leadership competencies of the superintendency, as it is my first year being a superintendent. You know, some highlights here, I think my partnership and collaboration with Beth Ann, we really have optimized the use of funds during a pretty volatile state and federal environment with regards to budgeting. And we were able to recapture 4 positions, 3 through attrition and 1 through reorganization. We enhanced district operations through policy, job description reviews, organizational chart updating and review. And then I personally engaged in several professional development experiences. Most recently PBSA and the school leadership program. All the acronyms. And so looking forward, one of the things that I'm really excited about is the zero-based budgeting that we're going to be working towards. And so I know Beth Ann is already working on that. We've got some things in the works, but I think that that'll be a really comprehensive way of looking at starting with 0 in each department and then building up from there so that we really have an eye on how we're spending our resources and making sure that they align with what our priorities are. And then applying the learning that I am getting in these professional developments to our leadership team so that I am not only modeling reflective leadership, but then also developing our instructional admins leadership skills as well. And thank you. Some of these pictures were from open house, just some classroom visits, the pre-K fire trip visit, and then the one in the top left is from today. We had Cure Violence come to Turner to speak to our 5th and 6th graders in particular, just about addressing problem-solving skills in a proactive manner. And, you know, I was unfortunately in a different meeting, so I wasn't able to be there, but the feedback that I heard from the faculty and administrators that were there was really positive. Is that the kids were really captive and really engaged with them. And the Pure Violence team offered them a 2-week challenge that, you know, if they were problem solving, asking for help, seeking mediations, they'd come back in 2 weeks and have some sort of reward for them. So we're looking forward to really continue to develop that partnership for our students as well.
That's wonderful.
I love the firefighter pictures. They were so cute.
They were so cute.
Any questions for Dr. Artinger? Okay, so our committee reports, the Kelly renovation ad hoc committee report.
You just got it.
Yeah.
Nothing else,
The new board member onboarding process ad hoc committee report, you guys are still in process, correct?
I didn't know there was supposed to be.
We stuck it on here this
Okay.
month, but you and Beth Ann are working on it, and that's sufficient, if that's all you
Sure
want.
we are,
Yeah.
Beth Ann.
We will have some, changes after next week, so yeah. And when we do
Oh,
rework.
gosh, next week is the.
Next week is election, yeah.
Wow, next Tuesday.
Yeah. Safety
7
and
a.m.
security, safety and security committee report. Tim,
You'll see that in executive content.
thank you so much. Finance committee report. Danny.
Nothing really to add, except that I think we did delete a few things on my minutes because it was a not to exceed number on blinds, and, I mean, they're minor things really, I think, and cameras and stuff, but anyway, we're okay till December, let's hope our government
Yeah,
comes up with some.
Yeah.
plans.
Hopefully some of what's on our agenda tonight.
And a lot of kudos to this lady over here, because, I mean, a lot of districts have had to borrow money, we do not have.
I know, that's it. Shout out.
Have to throw it back at the board.
No.
To let me keep the money in general fund instead of putting it in capital projects.
Thank
So
you.
that was a
Thank you,
good
Beth.
decision the board made.
Anything you want to highlight, that coming up tonight, or you just want to, that you discussed in finance that we're going to be voting on, or you want to just wait till we get there?
Well, actually, the board, I think the telephone interpretation services, those are the kids that have a lot of, we do have several different languages that need
Non-English
interpreting,
speakers,
Yeah, and it's $10 a month. I mean, these are not hugely expensive. And the same thing with the TransPerfect AI portal translation through the AIU. And I think that's $500. It renews once a year. And the school nutrition program, that was another deal. We only have one kid at Forbes right now, but they have to do due diligence to get paid. We don't have to deal with that. And anyway, the other ones were deleted. Oh, and then the generator design engineer, that was an issue because of some of the connections when they had to do the new electric panels near the nurse's station. Anyway, there's just things that have to be connected to the generator in case of failure of the electric system. So, we lost food last time around. Hopefully we'll not have reruns of that, but we don't know that. So this would keep the refrigerators and freezers running, so we wouldn't lose that aside from all the other stuff, the emergency stuff that has to run from the generator while we have an outage.
Is this an upgrade to our generator? Was this,
so
are they just replacing the current the generator that was in place, or are we upgrading the generator to accommodate all the other things?
It's a replacement, but it's also adding a lot of things that were not previously on the generator.
So the generator is coming, the generator was purchased by us, but only over the past 2 months did we, the district, ask 10 to take the generator that we already owned that had never been at that building. It was purchased for this building, central office, and was never put in here. And so we were asking them to put it in at Kelly to avoid what we experienced back in May when that huge storm came.
Yes.
And so this is a new thing that we have asked them to do to try and be prepared for storm readiness, for emergency preparedness. And so they will have to have, tonight we'll be voting on a set of drawings for that generator. And correct, and that's what we're voting on it tonight. But budgeted, I shouldn't say. I think, Beth Ann, you can speak to where that money is coming from.
It's on the project, so it'll be coming out of capital projects.
So that money
Not the general fund.
yeah, we just didn't have that money marked for this until recently because we're trying to avoid those emergencies, like Danny was saying, the loss of food. And that was at Turner, where Turner didn't have their generator hooked up to their refrigeration units. Now they do we want to make sure we do the same thing at Kelly. So that's what this is. It's the drawings to actually have the electrical drawings of how it connects, but then also there's a second item about the actual mechanicals of what it takes to hook it to the panel, right? But we own the generator. The generator is something we already own, so it was just repurposing it for that.
That's like possibly towards the end of the year, would you make sure that you give us an update on all the additional expenses that we spend on the school versus what was budgeted for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be appreciated.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of that with a code at the end of the account number, so it's an easy pull.
And all of that'll come out of capital projects though? for the
That
most
will,
part.
yes, but there's other items that came out of general fund, containers.
You'll give us a breakdown on
right.
that,
Yes.
yeah.
It's actually.
And whether we were budgeted for it or whether they can, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were things like the Santa House teacher move costs for kids having, food brought in there, teacher food. Excuse me, moving was $10,000, storage containers was 14, so some of that is what she has.
Mhm. And I just think we all need a whole, this is
breakdown.
what was budgeted, this is how much we went over,
Yeah.
why did we go over, what was included in the go over, all of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything else?
No.
Okay. Personnel committee report. That's fine.
There is a couple things on tonight's agenda that we will be voting on for personnel, and they'll be up shortly.
Okay.
And it's attached in the executive content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that because everybody can't see it, but there is the report. And,
Okay.
For the board.
Yeah.
well, I just wanted to find out and I think so.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
The curriculum committee did meet this month. The only discussion item on that agenda was to discuss the fit days and what that schedule looks like. So I provided some feedback about what my experience as a parent has been for those flexible instruction days. And maybe how that schedule might want to shift a little bit, the things that worked well, the things that didn't work well. Some of the stuff about like Google Classroom, and how the teachers have managed their Google Classrooms, and sometimes it has been confusing to make sure that my students are in the right rooms at the right times, Like the schedule is always pretty straightforward, but it's like, wait, did I click on the right thing?
Oh, yeah.
And then another thing that I don't know if you come across this or not with the flexible instruction is that sometimes the teachers will provide a YouTube video link that is to YouTube, and then the kids can't actually go to it, right?
Mhm.
So I was just trying to make them aware of like, hey, please make sure you're putting in like a kid's YouTube, like make sure it's a link that they can actually get to, because my son was just like, I can't do the gym lesson because I can't get in this video, so I had to, but yeah. Okay. Policy committee, Felicia.
Yeah.
It's attached.
The report is attached, but all it is like we're gonna do we're gonna adopt the second thing and adopt the policies from June that we haven't done yet. And then I believe it's the 400 and 500s that are being consolidated into the 300s, and we're gonna do the first reads on those. And I do know that I can't remember off the top of my head what the dates are, but it was in Jocelyn's superintendent reports that the timeline for when after the first read gets passed today, the timeline for it to go to administration, and then to come back to us before we have our next policy meeting in November, I believe on the 14th.
Yeah.
And so there's a timeline in her, and I don't remember off the top of my head, so I'm not going to throw a date out there.
The administrative team, we're meeting on the 4th.
Okay.
And we're asking the board to have any feedback on these first three policies by the next policy committee meeting, which I do
So
believe
it's
is
the
the
Wednesday
14th.
before. So we want to be able to have those comments in board docs, or if you email it to me so that.
Or the note catcher, or the note catcher.
Or what was it?
The link, the Google Doc.
The Google, that's what I said first. Because I only said that because Amanda sent that text at one time and said email Felicia. So
We're all on
if
the
you,
same page now. We're all on the same page.
but typically it's gonna be that board doc by the 12th, which is the Wednesday before the next policy meeting. So that the idea is that at that policy meeting, we will go over the administration and the boards and then come in for vote.
Yeah.
At the regular meeting in November.
So get your feedback on these first three policies.
And there's a lot, I think
In with the note catcher
50.
by Wednesday, November 12th. The policy committee meeting is Friday, November 14th.
And these policies govern administration. So they're important, and that's why there's 50 of them.
And they're also many years past due.
Yes. And it's gonna, just help set the tone for everything that's already in effect with everything else. And I'm looking forward to the day where we get to, there's only like maybe 5 or 6 policies to update at our meetings as opposed to 20 or 40 or 70 or 100.
Okay, joint tax committee, we actually did meet last night. We have one application that is attached here. We did not make a decision at that time because there was some additional information that came in late yesterday about where that property stands with their taxes and how they can get them up to current status. And maybe actually, Beth Ann, you and I can talk a little bit about what that process is like later. Yeah. But yeah, so we haven't actually voted on this property yet. We'll vote on this property next month as to whether they've applied for a tax abatement. You can see the application there. The Parks and Rec Committee, Felicia again.
Yeah, so Parks and Rec did meet in October. I sent Beth Ann the minutes for September instead of October, which I did speak about the September meeting at our last meeting last month. So all we talked about this year was just trying to wrap things up for the budget for their fiscal year, preparing for next year. There is going to be a cleanup at Whitney Park next month. It's going to either be they proposed it to be on the 22nd of November, but the 29th is a rain date. And
I know. They're doing their best. I know.
So,
November 22nd with a rain date of the 29th.
Yes. Yes. And so
I know.
So they also talk about like doing walkthroughs of some of the parks around the area, because there's a lot of walkable little parks in Wilkinsburg that nobody knows about. So we talk about these little parks for maybe getting together and doing walkthroughs. And our next meeting is on the 20th at 6:30. But we're also getting together this Wednesday. We'll be at Salvatore's at 5. Just to,
yeah,
informal.
Who's going to be there?
I'll be there. Radian will be there, and I'm sure a few of the three Michaels will be there.
They're all the rest of them are Michael.
There's like 3 of them.
I did have something in, just because it came up last night at the land bank meeting. There is an event on November 6th in partnership with Grounded that Parks and Rec is a part of. Raiden has been the one in those meetings, though, specifically because of Grounded.
Officially elected the president of Parks and Rec, I think, in September.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I just wanted to give you that date because we met last night. I was like, oh, okay, let Felicia know. And Renee said that she would reach out as well.
That dinner has also
Say that
appeared,
again?
the dinner has appeared in our newsletter as
November
well.
November
November
6th.
6th.
At community.
It appeared in our newsletter because they actually sent it to Lydia, so it's actually in the parent newsletter too, November 6th. Trying to get more community things to go through the newsletter, so that parents have one resource. they can go to. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Okay, Forbes Road East, Alex.
I went to the first meeting in August. It was less than 5 minutes. We were just kind of in and out. And then the second meeting, I was on vacation. So I'll update you on the next meeting.
All right, sounds good. Eastern Area Schools, we did have a meeting last Thursday. I have a bunch of stuff attached there, but really it's just the meeting minutes from September and then the agenda for October, because I don't have the official meeting minutes, but I can tell you that all the voting items on the agenda there, we approved. They're basically just spending items, right? So we approved the bills, that's what we did. But I don't have exactly who was in attendance and who voted, but it was unanimous. And then 10 also gave a presentation there because they are interested in contracting with Eastern Area Schools for some of their upgrades. I think I attached their presentation as well for, school facility upgrade, PISA. We had some good conversations around their presentation too. The solicitor there was reminding us that any sorts of projects that we undertake involve 6 different districts approving the money. So we had some conversations about scope of this project and like what that would involve and entail. So it was a good conversation. So we'll see. Oh, also we are going to actually meet in person next month. So since the pandemic, the Eastern Area Schools board has met virtually. Those conversations led us to say like, well, we should all actually walk through this building and like go see it. So anybody who wants to go see the building next month, it'll be the 3rd Thursday. I think we're gonna bump it up to 5 o'clock. We're gonna meet there. Normally we meet at 5:30, but if anybody's interested, let me know. We can like carpool over there and take a little walk through. and that'll be our meeting. But usually our meeting is just like approving like spending. But yeah.
Sorry, guys,
there's the
there
tech.
it goes.
Yep, okay,
Okay.
Wilkins Land Bank. No, I'm with you, it is my bedtime too.
All right, so the land bank, we met last night. A few things, some good news as well. So first, we did have a board member removal of Paul O'Hanlon, just simply lack of communication. We have not heard from him, so it's been over a year.
I know he has some health issues.
I
He
know,
had some health
well, because there
issues.
was definitely health, here nor there. We exhausted all ways to ensure that, whether he could serve or not. So we did the process of removal, and then we also appointed someone to replace him. Paul was filling the 3rd ward seat. So Evan Verado, sorry. Evan Verado, who is also a 3rd ward resident, was appointed yesterday evening to fill that seat. We also just threw out conversations about our 2026 meeting schedule so that Renee is able to share that with the newspaper to just publicize our meeting schedule for next year. I did request that we, don't maintain the 4th Monday because it's just too close. I don't like the meeting being the night before this meeting, because it's just a lot. And
Well, also that's joint tax too.
yeah, and joint tax. So we're going back and forth to move it to 2nd or 3rd Wednesday, or 2nd or 3rd Mondays. Natisha is going to double check with the borough council's, meeting schedule to make sure we can get a good Monday to meet. We will begin to have finance meetings same day as we have our board meetings the hour before. So we'll be, adding that to the meeting schedule. And last night, we also approved our first application for acquiring one of our properties that is on the market. It is 1817 Montier Street. Renee mentioned that there should have been something sent to Beth Ann, Jocelyn, you, and Matt.
I don't believe I've received anything.
You should have received some kind of notification, so.
You said it was 1817?
That's the address.
Montier?
Yeah, but I just wanted to reference that, like there's some form of communication you all should be getting on that. This application is just that. It isn't the process of the sale. Like we need to go through and make sure, they get the addendum for the sales agreement to go over the terms of the sale. The purpose of the land bank is so that we're selling homes that are affordable. And so they're working with the applicant to make sure everybody's in agreement with the amount, that they can sell the house. We also have 2 additional properties that are still out for sale. There is one at 2233 Laketon Road. That's for $30,000, and these are all on the website. So if you go to wilkinsburglandbank.org, you can look at the properties and the link, the MLS listing, and the one property, 2241 Laketon Road. That one is available for any type of use. We did receive an application for 2233 Laketon Road, but they wanted to do the housing for,
Transitional?
not transitional, but mental health. Yeah, but this isn't one of those properties that is available for that type of usage. So those 2 are still out to be out and available. We did suggest that the realtor share with them the 2241 option because that is one if they wanted to do that with, and that's just because that particular property, a lot of work. So whoever would take that, yeah. So those are the 3 properties that are out on MLS right now. So if folks are interested, they should hop on and look. As I shared earlier, there's a grounded event happening on November 6th. And there will also be an event on November 8th. Yes,
For
it's a
housing?
tabling. They're tabling.
These two events are for housing?
Yes.
For applicants or just information given?
All of it, because we'll share what's available if you're interested, and then information if you want to know how do you apply, like what's the process if you're interested, and or if you want to be a contractor, you have to apply to be one of our, verified approved contractors for all the insurance and things of that. We also talked about, and this was just, more of my questions around transparency for community because it is so new. So there will be a process of record keeping for like the date that it goes on to the market, the MLS date, the offer date, sharing who made the offer, how many offers did we receive. I think for this 1817 Montier Street, we received I want to say about 6 offers, but the application we accepted was the only one that completed it top to bottom. And so that was the, not the suggestion, but that was the recommendation of approving this particular application. And yeah, our next meeting is next month at 4th Monday. So I think for us in the school district, if this first application goes as planned, we'll have a new home back on the tax rolls by next school year.
That's great. That's great news.
Yeah, they told us about the woman who applied. I asked her, a timeline on completion. She said 6 months. I guess I'd assume like maybe at most a year because I'm going through construction, things happen. But yeah, but it's exciting. That house is really nice too.
Yeah, that is exciting.
So yeah, it was a big deal for the land bank to have actually, the first home.
Yeah.
Go out.
So I just want to say, I'm looking at 1817, and I've spent plenty of nights on that porch. That is where one of my close friends, her family home.
Okay.
So
My grandmother's 2 doors up.
yeah, so it would be like, it would be the aunties, the uncles, the great grand, so brought back some memories.
Yeah.
Wilkinsburg. Okay, now I do have a question though. As far as the land banking, I'm pretty sure that there was a cohort. Can you tell me anything about the cohort?
Okay. For what?
I thought it was a home ownership cohort, and I thought it was through the Wilkinsburg Land Bank. All right. So I might have.
There's not partnerships, but we brought in people for, Neighbor Works or Neighbor, I think it's Neighbor Works. And then of course there's Catapult Greater Pittsburgh that have their home ownership programs.
Yeah.
That we've brought in to discuss it, but the land bank is strictly pushing out properties. Yeah.
I have to look into that because I was like, I want to be in the cohort.
Yes. But there are home ownership programs that you could get into. It just wouldn't be through the land bank. You would go to them and they get you ready. Because that's also what we're connecting Renee with for having a gauge of when people are going through these home ownership programs, when they're ready to buy, oftentimes they're approved for an amount that they can't find a house for. So we are looking to see how can we, when these homes are available, offer them within those ranges that people who complete those programs are approved for to actually, purchase.
Yeah. No, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
PSBA liaison, Charmaine.
All right, guys, okay. So, anyways, with PSBA liaison report, there wasn't much on there. It was just a lot of stuff about AI in the schools. Go on social media, tell us your story. What I can say is that on the digest, there was information about a bus. It was a bus that we actually kind of got to see whenever we were at the conference. And I guess it's going to these rural places and giving education on a plethora of different things, including, what was it, financial aid, or it was just a lot of different stuff. It was a whole lot of different stuff.
That was Great PA Schools, right?
Yeah, and it was
Great schools.
It was Great Schools, Great Pennsylvania Schools bus, and it was going to rural areas just to give them information on like jobs, pretty much everything, anything undersized.
They
So that
also
was
do
interesting.
school director training on that thing too.
Right.
They give scenario-based training.
Yeah, simulations, like, and it's an immediate response, and it'll respond based off of how you respond and give you, it was interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He offered to us in there, we were like, we're in the car for 4 hours, we do not want to go into a van right now,
Right.
Yeah.
Right, so that's pretty much all that was on the PSBA Liaison Digest. I did go ahead and send the email to Beth Ann. I just seen that it didn't go through, so I'll send that again.
Okay.
And then we all just attended the conference.
Yep.
I know for me, I really enjoyed the conference. Big shout out to Nutrition Group for being so hospitable and just being very gracious as hosts. And just a takeaway. Every time I go to this conference, this will be my second time, every time I go to this conference, I get an opportunity to get to know my school board directors, my colleagues, a little bit deeper, and obviously my new colleague and his family. And this time was nothing short of that, but it was just very, very rewarding to be able to walk around this carnival, getting my scavenger hunt stickers. And everybody asked me about my new superintendent.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
Everyone was asking me about our new superintendent. And they said they had some workings with our old superintendent, and they were interested to see if our new superintendent would like to do business. So of course, I segued over to our superintendent, and she handled everything with such grace. So I say all that to say, just thank you, Beth Ann, for allowing us to have, not allowing us to have the money in the budget, but for making sure, we had the money in the budget. And
it provided a great opportunity for us to get to know each other as people, but also to get that professional development that we need to go ahead and move forward in this climate, especially.
Yes.
And then also Felicia and I were able to participate as delegates in delegate assembly. I don't think we've had a contingent of delegates in a couple of years, so that was really nice. Felicia and I had quite the experience in there.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did. I enjoyed it.
What was his name? Rudy?
Oh, that was the end.
I don't want to.
We're talking about delegate assembly.
Yeah, we're not talking about that.
We're talking about Sean asked.
That is not a good experience.
But yeah, it was all.
I'm not gonna
It was
make
all
that
very
public.
good.
I'm gonna say that wasn't
And
a
then
good
as far as professional development, I'm sorry, I did want to say this one piece, is me and you attended the e-colors presentation, and it gave me an eye-opening, it just gave me some insight into the different personalities that I'm working with, and how to navigate those relationships, how to communicate and be effective in governing here on the board. So it was a really good experience.
Well, yeah, and it is, I think he did say it was like $40 a person to take the test to get more comprehensive results about what your colors are. But I will say the one thing that it could be useful to us is that it shows how your colors work with other colors. So that like I was
yellow.
No, I wasn't yellow. I was like blue yellow.
Oh, okay.
And then blue green. So I was thinker, social, thinker, something else. Because the yellow was social. That one. Yes, yellow was social. Yeah, because you was yellow something.
You see these conference
It had a
things.
chart though.
Yeah.
It said that like this is what you do, and these are how you guys can work together. So it's like if we would all take that color test to know what our colors are and realize what those dynamics are for each one of us individually, we would be able to see how we can work well together, because then it broke it down to this person's gonna do the how, why, and when first. It says like who, and so with that part of it was very informative. So
yeah, and I took some screenshots, but I can give you some of those blurred screenshots if you like.
That's what happens.
You already have
emails?
Sure.
From them?
Oh, from PSBA Liaison
No,
Digest?
from color people.
No.
I'll be getting emailed, I swear, they keep emailing me.
No, they haven't emailed me anything.
Yeah, because you can take the first part of it for free.
I did a Google search.
I'll just email the link. I'll email the link to the board.
Okay.
And, or one of it, so that you can do the free one. And
Yeah.
But
That'd
it
be
was
great.
very interesting.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much. Okay, board action is requested to approve the minutes from the October 14th, 2025 special voting meeting. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second. Alex, if you're not logged into board docs, you can tell Beth Ann your vote. It's either yes, no, or abstain.
Okay.
Discussion? Any discussion?
Come on, baby.
Alex, what's your vote?
Yes.
Say it loud enough.
Oh, everybody's here, yes.
Motion passes.
He said it's a secret.
Not here, that was secret.
Everybody.
Board action is requested to approve the minutes from the September 30th, 2025 legislative meeting. I need a motion
Motion.
and a second. Thank you. Discussion?
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't have a window, but I'll be a yes.
What was that, Ed?
I said, I don't have a window, but I'll be a yes.
Okay. Motion passes. Board action is requested to confirm the October 2025 cafeteria fund payments of $62,279.53. The expenditure payments of $1,681,044.70. Wire transfer payments for $550,952.12. Capital reserve payments for $42,435.52. And capital projects payments of $3,115. The expenditures for the year 2025, 2026 are low due to budget impasse issue, but are above 1 million because of bond debt payments. The following reports for October 2025 will be made a matter of record for the minutes. I need a motion.
So moved, Ed.
Second?
Charmaine.
Discussion? Just another shout out to Beth Ann because mentioning that impasse, we are still doing pretty good. So thank you again.
I know we're doing good. Come December, what we need to start swinging. If they haven't passed things.
No, we can go past December.
Okay.
Okay. That's good.
Yes.
Motion passes. This has been updated since planning meeting, is that accurate? Because we didn't have a planning meeting. So that is not accurate, but board action is requested to approve retirement resignations and new hires as attached here for October. I need a motion.
Charmaine.
Yeah, that's just the personnel meeting, sorry. And a second from Ashley, okay. Discussion?
Ciao.
I do have a question.
Yes.
Because she's been on personnel meeting. The one that is denied.
She went home, saw.
They're next.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yep.
Have they said anything?
I have not heard anything, but they must not hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So y'all take a walk.
We still need some more votes. We're still looking for some more votes.
I don't have a yes for sure date. I don't have a.
It hasn't updated for you, Felicia. I don't know why.
I'm very good.
Oh, yes.
Charmaine's a yes.
Sorry, what were you? Felicia, what'd you say?
I was a yes.
Thank you, sorry. Motion passes.
The box popped up, I did.
I don't know, it could be, board docs. Board action is requested to deny the request of employee ID 6594617 for unpaid leave for the period of October 20th through the 24th, 2025. I need a motion.
So moved, Ashley.
And a second.
Seconded.
And any discussion. So just so the board members understand, there is executive content that tells you what ID number that is down there. Again, that's protected, not to be
But that's the
shared
word summary as to why it's denied.
Yeah.
They didn't put it in on time.
It doesn't follow our policies. It doesn't follow board policies.
So
Okay,
our
so they did
vote
put it in
is
the time, it just
yes.
wasn't.
No, they did not.
They did not put it in time, and
Yes,
that's
And it
not
doesn't
supposed
follow
to get
policy.
It was, yeah.
Yes.
My mind had to
It should,
Like, back to that
how
meeting?
that, what like,
Motion
No, that's what the
passes.
problem is, the meeting was so far off from this meeting.
It is hard.
that
We
you-
can talk about that if you
Yeah,
want
that
to
you forget
share.
about,
We
you
can
know what
talk
I mean,
about that,
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
fly
Board action is requested to deny the request of employee ID number 2350412 for unpaid leave for the period of October 20th through the 24th, 2025.
same concept.
And I need a motion
So moved it.
and a second,
Yeah, second.
and then any discussion. Again, like Latanya said, same concept, and this was discussed in personnel.
Yes.
Not popping up for me.
it just did.
Okay.
I don't have a box that's in, but I'm a yes.
Yeah, it's taking a minute for me too.
Yeah, but
I know, we make you wait. Motion passes.
It just popped up.
I know, it's slow too. It doesn't like to work after 9 o'clock either. Board action is requested to approve Dr. Jocelyn Ardinger as the Title IX coordinator for the district beginning October 29th, 2025. I need a motion
So moved, Charmaine.
and a second.
Any?
Any discussion?
Let's say the title
Title IX coordinators are the ones that, I had something in
now.
it.
Cause you knew I was going to that, you knew.
I had a thing and then it just dissolved.
discrimination based on
Thank
sex.
you.
Okay, so they know what you're doing.
Yeah, so the Title IX coordinator is in charge of taking complaints around discrimination based on sex.
And then it's required.
Yes, exactly.
And it dissolves right in front of my eyes. Motion passes. Yeah. In accordance with Act 55, board action is requested to approve Mrs. Sheila Reed as the district school safety and security coordinator effective October 29, 2025. Her training was completed on October 10th, 2025. I need a motion
I motion.
and a second.
Second.
And any discussion? Remember, at last month, we hired Mrs. Sheila Reed to be in her role, and now we are, since she completed her training, we're able to assign her to that.
Cause that's what she was hired to do
Correct.
all along.
Correct. That and federal program. So
Right.
she was 8, what was it, 7 hours of training she had to do before she did 8? Yeah, so that's pretty good. October 10th, she completed it. That's
Her
pretty good.
first week.
We need a simple majority for a motion to carry to pass.
For most,
Most items, okay.
there are some that are very specific to either majority, super majority, or super majority. For a little while, we had there.
But then nobody know what it was.
But you can pass.
Ed, how are you?
I just voted.
Okay, thanks. Motion passes. Motion passes.
Staying in advance, Ed.
Okay,
In advance.
so this,
The guidelines.
I want to prep us for the next two sections, the L section and the M section. I'm going to read this board action item for L, and then for both L1 and L2, and then then we will actually vote for the consent vote in letter M. Okay? Does everybody understand what we're about to do? So I'm going to read L1 and L2 as an action item, but we're not taking action until M1. Yeah. So board action is requested to approve the first reading of policies 301 through 353 via consent vote in action M1. This action will retire the 400 and 500 policies. Board action is requested to approve the second reading of the attached policies via consent vote in action M1. And then board action is requested to approve all consent items L1 and L2 first and second read policies. For this, I need a motion.
So confused.
I know, we talked about
Yeah,
it 6 times.
So moved, Charmaine.
And it's second.
I'll second it.
Thanks, Alex. So
No, it's
discussion
also,
around this.
before we moved on to this, there was conversation happening, but you were moving, so I'm just trying
Gotcha.
to, yeah, but, why did we skip the first two?
So those are encompassed into this action item. So L1 and L2 were read as action items, and then the actual vote happens as one consent vote for consent item M1. So remember, these are the policies that, the second read policies have been read since June, and the first read policies are just what we talked about in Felicia's policy update, which was, if anybody has feedback on them, please get them in by November 12th, so we can discuss it policy November 14th. And again, these second read policies will be adopted tonight. They've been in effect they've been read for the first time in June, so we've had all this time to discuss them and go through them. If we need to delay those first reads that we're doing tonight for their second reads, we can do the same thing like we did for those June ones.
Okay, so is number 2, L2, the second read or the first read?
So L1 is the first reads and L2 is the second reads. We have to take one consent vote for both first and seconds.
Can I interject?
Yes.
And I think what I'm about, if I'm incorrect, Jocelyn, please correct me, but I think that we don't want to put out there that we can make this same process for these first reads because they're condensing 400 and 500 to 300 and 353, which is the administrative policies that govern the staff. So these policies are very important. We don't want to.
I'm clear on that.
Yes, no, because she just.
Well, I want to be clear too, if we get a lot of feedback, right, in that 2 weeks time span, it's possible, right?
I know, I'm
So
saying
we
it is
can't
a
come to consensus
possibility,
in the next 2
but-
weeks over these.
But
you know.
I just don't want to put it out there like, yeah, that's going to be the standard or the norm.
Right.
Because that should, these policies for this particular thing, for Jocelyn to be able to do what she needs to do with the administration moving forward, these particular set of policies are very important for us to really take the time to read them so that we can put them through second read. And now, like Amanda said, something happens and that can happen, that's one thing, but I just want to put it out that these particular, how important these policies are for her to be able to move forward with what she needs to do with her staff.
I think that is important to point out because that means that what we're asking is for the board to really review them over the next week.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
please start reviewing them so they do provide that feedback.
And they're linked here in board docs individually where you can go in there and I think they are linked in her superintendent's report, but even in here, if you click on the attachment, they're all listed in there where you can click on them and go through them one by one.
Mhm.
They're all in there.
Any additional questions or discussion around that?
Yes.
Motion passes. Board action is requested to approve the contract with Dr. Rosa Tucker for bilingual school psychologist services at a rate of $150 per hour and not to exceed $7,200 for the 2025-2026 school year. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second. Any discussion?
Yes. Is this for something that we already know or just stay on standby?
No, we do know. Yeah.
And this is-
It's not necessarily going to be the $7,200. That would be if she completed a number of evaluations, but we at least have one evaluation already. And one.
So
that
technically, that's what she charges, and this is just not to exceed the request.
Exactly, like in the
We're gonna
event.
have more.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh, I don't have a window, but then yes.
Motion passes. The board is asked to approve an agreement with the Bradley Center School-Based Mental Health Program for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year, subject to solicitor approval. The school-based mental health brings together schools, county mental health programs, and community resources to develop a continuum of services that enable children to have their educational and mental health needs met within their school setting. The school-based mental health program is not a replacement for school counselors, but rather a referral resource for counselors to ensure the students receive the behavioral health support they need.
So moved, Charmaine.
Well, I'll finish it now in discussion. The Bradley Center offers a tiered approach to behavioral health supports, including assessments, assistance with transitions, with a more restrictive school placements, or hospitalization, individual therapy, family therapy, group therapy, psychiatric services, psychiatric evaluation, and medication management. These services, you can go ahead and go for Felicia. These services are accessed through a family's medical insurance. There is no cost addition for these services. If needed, additional services are available at a cost as stated in the addendum. The service is presented at the recommendation of the superintendent. And as we discussed in that presentation earlier, if we need additional services, a la carte services, that'll come back before the board for any expenditures there.
And do we have any students currently getting ready to utilize their services?
Yeah, we have students there that are ready and waiting for this level of support.
Approximately how many students do we have over there utilizing service straight on? Did you say 40?
35.
Yeah, because that was the case of what ESS was doing. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Y'all making me laugh.
We need a laugh, okay?
We gotta keep going, yeah.
Yes, sorry. I apologize.
No, I'm just saying that we have that many kids needing.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew
that.
But that's across all grades.
Yeah, it's across. And I think that there's a lot though. I mean, that's happening across.
I know,
across
it's
the
across, it's just, yeah.
Ed, did you get a window?
No, I did not. Again, yeah, I'm a yes.
Motion passes. Board action is requested to approve the attached PSBA budget impasse resolution. I need a motion.
So moved, Ashley.
I'll second.
Awesome. And any discussion? I can give you guys a rundown of the email that they sent out on Friday and just tell you what the resolution calls for. It is also attached there for you to read in detail, but the resolution calls for full funding for public education and release of all federal funds owed to the districts, compliance with the Commonwealth Court's rulings around this budget, repayment of interest and fees incurred due to borrowing during the impasse, cyber charter funding reform as well is also in this resolution. So I think this is really important for us to pass this evening, and then also let PSBA know that we've done it. I've been sharing with other school directors across the state that I know to also ask them to share that as well. So if you know anybody in other districts, please share with them. Motion passes.
Ooh, did you share this with Heather?
I was like,
Yes, because she's in the leadership group, so yeah.
Motion passes.
Board action is requested to approve the 2024-2025 HSAO contract for service coordination in the Wilkinsburg community for $85,439. I need a motion
So moved.
and a second
Second, Ashley.
and discussion.
What's the
So
HSAO?
HSAO is, again, it fell in my head, I was about to say it. Thank you. Human Services Administration Organization.
And
So-
what do we use it for?
We currently, Miss Julia is in that role, and some of you, like me, when I first saw this, might think, didn't we just approve this? So we approved the contract, but not the,
We called that the SAP agreement.
Yeah.
yes.
So what are we voting for $85,000? And I understand.
For Miss Julia's service coordination services.
To do what?
So what she does is she works directly with families to get them outside supports.
Right, so homeless supports, housing supports.
So we're paying her
utilities.
$85,000 to help our family.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any families in need, yeah,
Did I break it down for you, right?
yeah.
I knew where you were going.
That's what I was gonna ask.
I know. And it should be explained because you
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please ask questions.
Yeah.
That's what this, and typically we do the planning meeting where we talk, and in this meeting, we like, bam, we about an hour, but not today.
You have to do those tonight.
Clearly.
Well,
A lot
that's
of
why I
bands
said,
and bops
this being
in
the
there.
first meeting, we need
Yeah.
to plan everything.
Yeah.
Bands and bops in there.
You know what I mean? You think,
Did you get a box?
yeah.
Look, let's
I know.
Motion passes.
9:32.
No, yeah, 9 o'clock, yeah. Board action is requested to approve telephone interpretation services through the AIU. The total cost for the service is $10 a month or $120 annually, February 10th, 2026 through February 9th, 2027. I need a motion
So moved it.
and a second.
Chardonnay.
Any discussion? Everybody's like, not for $10 a month. No, no,
I mean, do we have something in
no.
place for them now since it's gonna start till February?
Do we have services right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's when the contract was,
Previous agreement.
started last year.
So this is an
That's why it's
extension of that
going,
agreement.
right.
Motion passes.
We're almost there. We are so close.
Board action is requested to approve the TransPerfect AI portal translation through the AIU. An annual contract is one-time annual participation fee of $500. We're doing on or around January 6th, 2026, and through January 5th, 2027. I need a motion
So moved it.
and a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are we going to utilize this for?
Typically, like, this would be utilized if you have a family that does not speak English and you need translation services.
So another translation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have contracted for these translation services in the past. And so I think this, the update here is that particular service provider.
And it's needed.
Yeah.
Do you know how many families about we have?
That require translation?
Yeah.
Yeah, a significant portion.
Can we get those numbers?
Yeah,
36
I was gonna say 20, but
that
I mean, that's
multilingual English
Yeah.
learners.
It's been going up every year.
And there's several languages.
That's what I was gonna say, it's several
Spanish.
languages.
You know, it's Russian,
We
it's
just-
Swahili, like there's
Yeah.
multiple.
Usually around these renewal agreements too, we have to have conversations around like how are we additionally supporting these families, not just through translation services, but how are we like making sure they're incorporated into our communities and the culture and all that stuff, so it's just.
We definitely should celebrate these families.
Yeah. Motion passes. Board action is requested to approve the S&P Forbes Road Agreement, which covers who's responsible for getting Forbes Road reimbursement for reduced and free lunches from the state. We are not bound to the application process because we are a CEP school, all free lunches. In this case, the application process falls on Forbes Road to verify and prove to the state for reimbursement. I need a motion
So moved, Ed.
and a second. Any discussion?
What's CEP?
CEP?
That's fine.
Community eligibility profession.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I had to look it up too.
I
should have had it in there.
We met a certain percentage of,
Yeah.
poverty level, so- Because back when y'all were going, you still had to pay or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we changed that, because it just got to be too
With
complicated.
my little card, my little paper card.
Yeah.
Here's my dollar.
I had a check, I couldn't lose that check, turn that in, that's your whole week.
I was just like, I'll just take my safety cake.
Oh, sorry, Shorty.
My kids not be the ones running up at the last one.
Motion passes.
Kids standing in the line.
I know.
Board action is requested to approve the change order for ramp lighting at Kelly Elementary for a not to exceed amount of $1,100. I need a motion
So moved, Ed.
and a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Is that for the new lighting we were just talking about?
Yes.
This is lighting that's underneath the ramp, the ones that we originally ordered were like too big and each one needed its own.
Like
a
unit?
Starter unit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It was gonna be a ton of wiring. It was cheaper and easier to go to these.
Okay, so
Do we get a
we're mixing the
refund?
other one. And we'll get a refund from them
I
or
don't know
whatever?
about that. I can go
So
to that
this
detail.
dollar amount is a not to exceed because they don't know the restocking fee yet. So we're just saying like, this is that cost difference for right now. It will come in way under this.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
Yes.
because they didn't know the restocking amount at last Wednesday's meeting.
okay.
Yeah, but so when in discussions, we were like, $1,100, will that cover it? And they were like, yeah.
Yeah.
Motion passes.
I will ask, are we able to repurpose if we can't refund or get a refund?
That would be probably something that we would look into, but they're already in the process of
All
like returning those, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nothing is gonna go to waste out of this project.
I just don't wanna return something and not get money back.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
And they all want
You might get scammed.
Every which way, yeah. Okay, board action is requested to approve generator design engineer drawings at Kelly Elementary for a not to exceed amount of $10,000. I need a motion
So moved,
and
Ed.
a second.
So we did.
Sorry, discussion.
What's Charmaine? Where's that?
Sorry,
It's Charmaine.
that
was me.
It is Charmaine. You can't throw it off the
I
Denny.
just knew Denny was about to do
Sorry.
it.
And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where the generator we own, but we need these drawings to figure out how the generator connects to the panel. So the engineers need to, the electrical engineer needs to draw these drawings.
It costs $10,000.
I was getting ready to say the same thing.
Yeah, I am in the wrong business.
Like, we already
we
know.
all are. We should all be in construction.
I can tell y'all where every food bank is at.
Okay, so we have the generators, which you already explained, just how we can connect all these things to the generator is gonna cost $10,000. And then,
The next item is the actual circuitry, the actual hardware, the actual physical items. So this first part is the drawings part.
and that's the 10,000, and the
Yes.
8,000 is what?
There is a roughly 40,000
40,000.
on the next one. So those notes underneath there, their original cost was a not to exceed of 8,000 for these drawings, but we said you better make sure that we don't have to come back here for $1,000 or $2,000. So that's why we're doing the not to exceed 10 on this. Because they were like, roughly 8, and we were like, really 8? Well, 8 to 12. Okay, does 10 cover it? 10 covers it.
So
Okay.
get 5.
Yeah. Well, no, they
That's how I feel.
hopefully they're bringing it in at 8.
And this was not budgeted for either, so we're still taking this out of capital funds,
In order
right?
to abstain, you have to abstain for the meeting. You
Oh,
let
really?
The board know, yeah.
Okay,
And let
then
the board
I'll
know
vote
that you're
yes
gonna
then.
abstain and
You
why.
say what?
before you do
I'll
it.
vote yes then.
Okay.
Motion passes.
Alex said, why y'all got me voting on?
No, I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
And we have. Did you do your PSBA training yet?
That's not true.
I was gonna,
What, it was in the PSBA training?
I don't know what you heard from BSBA.
That's what they said, that ain't right.
Oh, listen, you can abstain on any vote.
That,
If
okay.
you have a conflict, you have to announce
Announce
why
your
you have that conflict, and you need to file a memorandum with the board secretary.
Well, then I will denounce that part of the PSBA training because the last, when I took it, and that's what it said, and when I said that the last time, nobody said that wasn't what it was. So I will not say it again, and I will go back and look it up.
When we do additional professional development training with PSBA,
Right.
conversations around abstentions, and the conversations around abstentions are that abstentions are frequently weaponized during board meetings for board members that don't want to vote yes or no on something, and that is what PSBA is trying to tell us, is that that's not a good position to be in for somebody who's an elected official, right? So as an elected official, we should stand on business, and when we have a conflict of interest, we should abstain. Outside of that conflict of interest, we should vote.
Oh, yes or no? Okay.
Yeah. That's what PSBA says. Yeah. But board action is requested to approve generator circuitry and installation at Kelly Elementary for a not to exceed amount of $40,000. I need a motion and a second.
I'll second it.
And discussion.
I don't know, is that the right public contact?
Yeah, it's duplicate from the last one.
Yeah, it is duplicate. I just included it all. I just included.
Cause it's all connected.
Because it's all connected.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what's happening.
Amanda said yes.
Yeah, that was 40,000.
Did you say yes?
Yes, I did.
Motion passes. We didn't receive any blue sheets for public comments on non-agenda items. I'm gonna say board member comments now before we actually, excusable absentee board members, we have none absent. Board member comments. I do have a comment. I just wanted to thank, Mayor Dante Comans for the trunk or treat.
That's
So I didn't want to give a shout out to him, but I also wanted to thank Pure Violence for their presence there as well, because they were there manning the grill and those burgers were great. And so it was a good time had by all the kids in the district. A lot of us were there,
We had
with
some
our
teachers
children.
show up too, so thank you.
Yeah.
Who were they?
Teachers and the families.
Miss Carrie and
Miss
Daniel
Carrie.
Pricer.
Yes, and of course the families, and we were telling all the families about PTO who are excited, they're coming, and next year we need more cars for trunk or treat, so.
And just another quick shout out and a thank you to the children's librarians who on Friday, October 24th, had a whole fall festival party that was very well attended by many of us as well, and it was, that was, yeah, they had a whole economy going on over there.
And I also want to shout out the teachers who didn't have a trunk but walked around with bags of candy.
That's
what we just said,
Yeah.
I want to shout out Healthy Start with the Healthy Baby Zone.
They
They
did
were live
great.
and in action. And then I liked the Wilkinsburg Film Support Center. They actually came out.
Yeah, they were there with the Wilkinsburg Athletic Association and,
Oh, yeah, Felicia.
who else was I just about to say? I lost it. I'm so sorry. It just slipped.
Okay.
But thank you
I
guys.
checked the WTAE's schedule for trick or treating this weekend, and we're the only borough in the whole county that doesn't have a designated time.
Time?
Yeah.
We really
know
do.
about
That's-
that?
Find out.
We do
who's
have
there.
one, yeah. I want to say
It's only like
It's not
5
even
to
on the
8.
borough's website.
Yeah, it's 5 to 8.
5 to
Yeah.
8.
I saw it. There was
I thought I
3
saw
hours,
it, yeah.
5 to 8. Okay.
Maybe get somebody to submit it to WTAE.
They would coordinate all of them. They're all different. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing Halloween's not till Friday. We'll make sure they get
Yeah.
it.
So thank you for that. Okay, board action is requested to adjourn the meeting. First. Felicia so moved. Ashley second. All in favor, say aye. Thank you all so much for your attendance this evening.
Thank you. My alarm already went off. Mine went off at 9:00.
Yeah, I gotta get 2 sleep.
Facts. I gotta work
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes, usually somebody, John